Hey, welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Check out our playlist for more amazing novels and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new audiobook. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 101. The Chu family leaves. But it took him 10,000 years of cultivation to achieve a breakthrough from the domination realm to the late stage of the infinite realm. This surprised Long Yuan. 10,000 years multiplied by 80 times is 800,000 years. Such a strong cultivation. It's actually a breakthrough of this point. It seems that the later the stage, the longer it takes to practice. Long Yuan frowned. It seems that the Tower of Time still has some use now. But the effect in the future may not be as great as it is now. When you reach that realm, it takes too long to reach each level. The system's 800,000 years of cultivation is equivalent to continuous practice. If it were someone else, it would definitely take longer. But it's not a big problem. We are still a long way from that. Long Yuan shook his head. I don't want to think about it anymore. The worst that can happen is that it will just take some more time. But this new mission is to train 9 martial emperors. I thought it was going to be a divine level. In this way, the difficulty has been reduced a lot. This task shouldn't take long to complete. Compared to cultivating martial god, this task couldn't be easier. Although the task is simple, but the rewards are generous. Supreme divine ability, supreme physique, they are all extremely terrifying existences. The so-called supreme constitution is also called taboo constitution. That is a being that has surpassed the divine level physique. It is rare to find one like this in the ages. And those martial artists with taboo constitutions, born to be envied by heaven. It is easy to die young due to many disasters. Should I fuse this supreme physique? Long Yuan touched his chin. He looked down upon other physiques. But his supreme physique still makes him somewhat excited. Forget it, let's give it to someone from the Chu family. Long Yuan shook his head. Have your own shelter. Doesn't he believe that the other party is still unable to grow up? And, with the current strength of his blood, Long surpassed those so-called divine level physiques. Even if I have a supreme physique, it probably won't be of much use to me. In a snap of a finger, the imperial weapon and divine weapon awarded by the system flew into the refining heart tower. These things can naturally be used as rewards for passing the heart refining tower. I want to practice. Unfortunately, his martial arts, eternal dragon god art, is no longer able to match. That is just a longevity level technique. And now he has reached the boundless realm. The immortality level skills have no effect on him at all. So Long Yuan simply lay on the ground and fell asleep. A few months later, those members of the Chu family who entered the Tower of Time finally came out. Everyone's face showed excitement and a feeling of wanting more. Over 300 years have passed so quickly, and I haven't even broken through to become the martial emperor yet. Someone yelled unwillingly. If there are another few hundred years, I can definitely break through the martial emperor realm. Haha, Chu Feng, come and fight me. Chu Zan's fists and palms collided with each other. Seems eager to try. Although his cultivation level did not break through the martial emperor. But his physical cultivation has already reached the level of martial emperor. Are you sure? Chu Feng smiled. Wisps of black chaotic energy intertwined on his body. Compared to before entering the Tower of Time, the chaotic energy on him became more intense. The whole person is full of fighting spirit. Even though he is only a martial saint. But his fighting power is enough to fight against any emperor level. The resources required for his chaos divine body to grow to perfection were too great. During these hundreds of years, although he put a lot of effort into it, even now, chaos divine body has not yet been improved to perfection. Let's go to the martial arts arena. Chu Zan chuckled. He hooked his arm around Chu Feng's shoulder and headed towards the martial arts arena. After such a long period of seclusion, how can I not test the extent of my own combat power? Behind them, Chu Shiren and others also walked towards the martial arts arena. Almost everyone can't wait to see their progress over the past few hundred years. Even Elder Chu Zhenan was ready to fight. Follow those people closely. All elders, gather in the meeting hall immediately. Chu Jingyu suddenly spoke. He called back Chu Zhenan, who looked eager to try. I can't stand it anymore. This time I will join the Dragon Guard no matter what. Chu Zhenan muttered. Dragon Guards don't need to get involved in too many mundane matters. Just focus on practicing and improving your power. Chu Jingyu said. He hasn't appeared for a year, so I guess a lot of things must have happened in the family. Mainly, those restless people should have come to the fore. So they have a meeting. Some forces that need to be eliminated should be eliminated. In the Chu family meeting hall, Chu Jingyu and others listened to the elder who was in charge of matters during the year report on what had happened during the year. Another martial emperor is coming, Chu Zhenan said in surprise. Not only is there the martial emperor, there is also an existence beyond the martial emperor. When Beast God fought with him, the energy fluctuations he emitted alone crushed 5 martial emperors into dust. The elder said. Everyone was shocked. I didn't expect such a big thing to happen in this year. It seems that the power of Beast God is indeed beyond that of Emperor Realm. Chu Hongxiao sighed. What about those forces? Is there anyone showing his head? Chu Jingyu asked. There were quite a few, but after learning that Beast God had taken action, they went dormant again. But some forces have gone too far, imprisoning or even beheading our deacons stationed at the resource base. Although some forces later released the imprisoned deacons and bribed them with large sums of money, many deacons reported the news back. There were also some forces that faked the deaths of some deacons to make them look like they were attacked by ferocious beasts, but we later discovered all of them through our secret investigation. The elders' expressions suddenly turned cold. They didn't expect that. Some forces have actually achieved this level. In that case, let's eliminate those forces. Chu Jingyu said in a deep voice. Previously, it was difficult to take action due to lack of strength. But now it's different. Now, after passing through the Tower of Time, they already have ways to solve these problems without calling in the Beast God. The sudden appearance of the Chu family's important figures surprised everyone in Azure Sun City. I thought they were scattered to various places to avoid the gates of hell. But why did it suddenly appear now? Some forces may be finished. Some martial artists realized something. Previously, many forces were quite arrogant. There had even been incidents of people trying to snatch the Chu family's resources. Against the water sect. Sect Master Ni Shui Han was trembling all over as he sat on his seat. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. All the elders standing below did not dare to say a word. What? You arrested my Chu family steward and you don't intend to give me an explanation? Chu Zhenan stood with his hands behind his back in the main hall of the Nishui sect. His eyes were like 2 sharp swords staring at the shivering Ni Shui Han. Elder Chu, this is a misunderstanding, Nishui said with a shivering voice. He never expected that. The Chu family steward who was captured and released by them and bribed with a large sum of money actually reported the matter to the Chu family. He really regretted it. I regret not listening to the advice of Elder Chu Fengming. This has led to the current situation. Then I'd like to hear what kind of misunderstanding this is. Chu Zhenan said coldly. Chapter 102 Chu Zhenan arrives at the Nishui sect. Ni Shui Han hesitated for a long time but couldn't say anything. He really couldn't think of any reason. His expression suddenly turned cold and stern. Act brazenly. In the blink of an eye, he had already thought of a solution. That is to kill the Chu family elder directly and then relocate the entire clan. At worst, I can go to another domain. Can his Chu family really control the entire human world with one hand? And the moment he took action, deep in the Nishui sect, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted. That is the breath of Martial Saint. It was the Martial Saint who took action. If the Chu family had let bygones be bygones, we wouldn't have resorted to this desperate measure. But now, there is no other way. Ni Shuihan shouted angrily. Martial Venerable's perfect aura also burst out without reservation. A punch hit Chu Zhenan's door. As far as they know, the strongest of the Chu family is only the Martial Venerable. Even though a year has passed, how strong can it be? Kill. The voice of rage sounded. A group of Martial Venerable elders also attacked with spirit weapons in hand. The violent energy destroyed the entire hall in an instant. Boom. There was a loud bang. The hall exploded instantly. A skinny old hand reached out from the depths of Nishui sect. Grab Chu Zhenan's head. Die. A cold voice came, carrying endless murderous intent. The Nishui sect is a real 8-star force. If it were placed in the former dry domain, it is a powerful force that is enough to rival the beast-controlling sect. It's just that they have been under the cover of Wangxing Mountain before, which makes them seem a little inconspicuous. Haha, if it was in the past you would definitely get what you want, but now. Chu Zhenan sneered, standing there motionless. Let those attacks hit you. But when those attacks were only a few inches away from him, his eyes suddenly narrowed slightly. There are rays of light blooming on the body. The astonishing energy that could destroy the world was actually blocked by him. What? This scene. Everyone was shocked at once. Even the martial saint in the depths of the Nishui sect cried out in horror. With all their strength, can't even get close to each other's body. Could it be that the other party is also a martial saint? This is impossible. As we all know, in addition to their mysterious beast god and the monster emperor Golden Flood Dragon, the strongest is only martial venerable. How could the person in front of me be martial saint? At this level, each breakthrough requires a lot of time to accumulate. What can you do in a year? Can't do anything. Not to mention martial venerable breaking through martial saint. I'm giving you one chance. It depends on whether you can seize it. Chu Zhenan still carried these hands. Look calm. It seemed that he didn't take the previous attack seriously at all. Your Chu family beast god is indeed very powerful, but that doesn't mean you can be arrogant. Since you are so arrogant, then go and die. The martial saint of the Nishui sect suddenly appeared a few meters away from Chu Zhenan. A golden round tripod suddenly flew out from between his eyebrows. Crushed the void. Go towards Chu Zhenan to suppress him. Imperial weapon. The Nishui sect actually has an imperial weapon. Feeling the terrifying aura emanating from the black round tripod, Chu Zhenan looked shocked. The Nishui sect is just an 8-star sect. How could there be such a treasure as an imperial weapon? As far as he knows, saint-level forces like Tian Long Yuan. There is no such treasure. Our Nishui sect is an 8-star sect that has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. How could it be possible that we don't have some hidden treasures? It is your honor to die under the Emperor's weapon. The martial saint of the Nishui sect snorted coldly. This divine weapon is the divine weapon that has been passed down from ancient times to the present day in the Nishui sect. It should not be used unless it is a life or death situation. And all those who have seen this imperial weapon have died. That's why this secret has been kept hidden until now. I heard it was an imperial weapon. Ni Shuihan and the others were all surprised. Although even they did not know the existence of this imperial weapon. But for them, it was undoubtedly like taking a reassurance pill. With this imperial weapon, why not kill the other party easily? My pleasure. Chu Zhenan sneered. If it was a few years ago, it is indeed an honor to die under the Emperor's weapon. But now, the imperial weapon is nothing. It's not like the Chu family doesn't have one. Facing the large cauldron that was emitting a faint imperial might, Chu Zhenan did not retreat but advanced. 5 fingers spread out. The brilliant golden light blooms. A surge of fighting spirit swept around. With a bang, it collided with the big cauldron. Boom! A powerful energy instantly spread out in all directions from the place of collision. Large areas of the surrounding void were shattered. The surrounding elders were even attacked and vomited blood from their mouths. The place where the big tripod was located turned into a dark black hole, revealing the emptiness in between. The power is unparalleled. However, the ancestors and leaders of the Nishui sect were all horrified. Just because Chu Zhenan actually blocked the imperial weapon with one hand. How is this possible? Although the imperial weapon did not unleash its full power. But it's not something martial saint can stop. The ancestor of Nishui sect suddenly widened his eyes. Looking at Chu Zhenan in disbelief, he said sharply, You are not a martial saint, you are a martial emperor. The opponent blocked the imperial weapon with his bare hands. Who else can do it except martial emperor? But how is this possible? How could the Chu family have other martial emperors besides the mysterious beast god? The ancestor of the Nishui sect felt that this was absolutely impossible. Chu Zhenan sneered. No answer was given to him. He just said calmly, This is not how the imperial weapon is used. He grasped the wall of the tripod with his big hand and shook it violently. The next moment, the ancestor of Nishui sect immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. With a pale and horrified face, he looked at Chu Zhenan and said, "You cut off the connection between me and the imperial weapon." It took him thousands of years to refine this emperor weapon. Now under the opponent's means, all the connections between himself and the imperial weapon disappeared. Now he was more certain. The opponent must be the martial emperor. Otherwise it would be impossible to achieve this level. Then, the ancestor of the Nishui sect knelt on the ground with a thud. He begged, "Elder Chu, please look at us and spare our Nishui sect a chance to live for the sake of not harming that deacon's life. Until now, he has no more means to use. I can only kneel down and beg for mercy. As for running, where to run in front of the martial emperor? This is no longer the deacon's business. If I beg for mercy before you make your move, maybe I can give you a chance to live, but do you think that's possible now?" Chu Zhenan's expression was cold. If I hadn't obtained a mirror-breaking pill from my training in the heart-refining tower, it allowed him to break through to the martial emperor realm. Then he might be the one who died today. Buzz. A golden light suddenly burst out from the cauldron. Wherever the light passes, everything is destroyed. Whether it is the elders. At that time, the martial saint was no exception. All of them were annihilated in the golden light of the cauldron. "Ah, I hate it so much." Ni Shuihan roared. The Nishui sect's thousand-year foundation was destroyed in his own hands. At this moment, he remembered the advice given by Elder Chu Fengming. If I had listened to the other party's warning, maybe it's a different situation now. Along with the voice message, Ni Shui Han's body also disappeared under the light of the cauldron. Chapter 103. The human world is shocked. "Not bad, I got an emperor weapon." Chu Zhenan looked at the golden cauldron in his hand and nodded with satisfaction. Although Beast God said before, anyone who can break through the martial emperor this time, each player will receive an emperor weapon as a reward. But which force would think that having such treasures is too much? Also, we must plunder all the cultivation resources such as essence stones. This is the most important resource. Opening the Tower of Time consumes a huge amount of essence stones. Nowadays, the top leaders of the Chu family attach great importance to resources such as Jingxi. After some searching, Chu Zhenan left the Nishui sect. All the disciples of the Nishui sect have fled in all directions. This sect that has been passed down for hundreds of thousands of years has finally come to an end. When the Nishui sect was destroyed, the Chu family also sent many strong men to descend upon those sects that were causing trouble. Many forces are experiencing the same thing. Some sects were destroyed. There were also some cases where the crimes were less serious and only the top leaders were punished. We won't force you to become our affiliated forces, but you'd better not do anything behind our backs, otherwise my Chu family will show no mercy. Chu Jingyu said without hesitation. In this regard, those forces did not dare to refute in the slightest. Because the news that the Chu family gave birth to more than one martial emperor has spread. If the Chu family used to intimidate other forces by relying on the mysterious beast god, now they have to rely on their own strong strength. It seems that the Hell Gate may really be helpless. Otherwise, they would not be indifferent to the fact that so many martial emperors were born in the Chu family. Now the whole world knows about this. Affected by the fall of the previous 5 emperors. The battle between the strong men in the realm of immortality. The slightly larger forces in the human world have secretly focused their attention on Azure Sun City. As long as there is any disturbance in the Chu family, the news will be delivered to all major forces in the human world as soon as possible. Now, many ancestors of various forces were in deep thought. If that's the case, so can they also break through the Emperor realm? What worries them is that, if they do break through the martial emperor, will the Hell Gate settle accounts with them? For a time, all the martial saints were watching quietly. Let's see what will happen to the first person other than the Chu family who breaks through the martial emperor. How could this happen? How come the small Chu family suddenly gave birth to so many martial emperors? Chu Dingtian of the Kangyu Chu family was stunned. Months ago, the spies they sent to Azure Sun City found out that the entire Chu family, in addition to the beast god and the golden dragon monster emperor, the strongest Chu Tianyang is only in the venerable realm. Even Chu Dingtian once thought to himself, see if there is any way to dig those 2 people to their Kangyu Chu family. Especially the incredibly powerful beast god of the Chu family. As long as the other party is in charge, they can also ignore the Hell Gate. After all, they have a deeper foundation here. This should be able to attract those two monster emperors. But now, the Chu family inexplicably gave birth to several martial emperors. This instantly destroyed all the hope Chu Dingtian had before. But he couldn't figure it out. In just one short year, why can the Chu family give birth to a martial emperor? The higher the realm, the longer the time required for cultivation. After martial venerable, even if there is a special physical bonus, the speed of cultivation will also slow down. But what is going on with the Chu family? So many powerful people were born in just 1 year. How did it come into being? On the other side, Hellgate also learned about the inexplicable appearance of the martial emperor in the Chu family. Their faces were surprised and solemn. And anger. Is this a blatant challenge to the authority of the Hellgate? What on earth is going on? Can anyone tell me why the Chu family suddenly gave birth to so many martial emperors? Wu Fu, the first leader of the Hell Gate, asked in a deep voice. It's fine that their beast god is powerful. After all, that was a being that even the holy envoy had retreated from. They don't know what level they have reached. But now even the Chu family has produced so many emperor-level masters. Things seem to be getting out of control. I don't know, but it should be related to their beast god. According to the information we have gathered, the Chu family was originally a small force that was about to be exterminated. Since the moment their beast god took over, they have been completely reborn, and their development speed is astonishing. A year ago, the strongest member of the Chu clan was only a martial venerable. Suddenly, after a year of disappearance, so many martial emperors suddenly appeared. The third sect leader, Min Su, sighed. Can become the gate master. They are all transcendent level warriors who have reached the perfection of martial emperor. But everything that happened in the Chu family still shocked them. Looking at this, the Chu family must have some treasure unknown to outsiders. We must find out what it is that can give birth to an emperor-level expert so quickly. Humph, what's the point of doing that now? It's too late. If even the holy envoy can't defeat him, what can we do? We should have taken strong action when the martial emperor was born, instead of dragging it out. Now it is beyond our control. The 7th sect master Muto snorted coldly. If they had acted decisively when the beast-controlling sect reported to them, maybe these things wouldn't be happening now. It's too late to say this now. Who could have expected things to develop to this extent? And do you really think you could have killed the Chu family's beast god at that time? It is impossible for the other party to reach this level in just a few years. The holy envoy also said before that this Chu family beast god is very likely from another world. Under such circumstances, what effect do you think we would have had if we had taken action a few years ago? Wu Fu asked back. He had asked the holy messenger for advice. To reach their level, even if one has the strongest divine level physique and all the necessary training conditions are met, it would be impossible to achieve this without more than 100,000 years. Although there are still many powerful inheritances left in the human world. But without divine level essence, it is impossible to break through to that level. So the holy messenger concluded. The beast god must have come from another world. It's not their fault. Yes, it's no use saying that now. The holy envoy has taken full control of this matter. What we have to do is to never allow a martial emperor to be born anywhere other than the Chu family, otherwise things will really get messy. Min Su said in a deep voice. Now people's hearts have begun to get agitated. Many of the old immortals who were afraid to break through and were stuck in the martial saint perfection were getting restless. There are many martial saints in the human world. If everyone breaks through the martial emperor, that was also a considerable pressure on them, the Hell Gate. From today on, send out martial emperors to patrol the human world. If they find any emperor-level strongmen in areas other than the Chu family, they will be killed without mercy. The power of our Hell Gate cannot be challenged. Wu Fu said angrily. Yes. As the disappeared members of the Chu family reappeared, Qian domain and the 5 surrounding domains fell silent again. Many forces were destroyed. Let people see the Chu family's decisiveness in killing. And now the Chu family's strength is there. Who is so blind as to dare to provoke them? Chapter 104 Long Yuan's expectations. Chu Tianyang, Chu Jingyu, Chu Long, Chu Zhenan, Chu Yunling. Long Yuan relied on spiritual sense to detect the emperor-level strongman of the Chu family. Finally found that there is only one martial emperor left to complete the system mission. And there are nearly 10 people who have achieved the perfection of martial saint. It's faster than I thought. It looks like this task will be completed in no time. Even if the Tower of Time is not opened, this task won't take too long either. Long Yuan flicked his finger. Several imperial weapons and the mirror-breaking pill flew out from the refining heart tower. Came to Chu Jingyu, who was checking the account book. Give them the rewards they deserve. The voice of Beast God sounded in Chu Jingyu's ears. Yes, Beast God. However, the mirror-breaking pill is limited. We will first distribute it to the martial saints who can break through the martial emperor faster. As for the others, we will compensate them later. Long Yuan said. There are many martial saints born in the Chu family this time. Especially Chu Long's family. Almost all of his concubines have reached the saint realm. This makes the mirror-breaking pill somewhat insufficient. As for the imperial weapons, some were rewards from the system, while others were captured from the Hell Gate. There are quite a few of them. However, Long Yuan has high hopes for Chu Long. Once that group of people gather together to break through, he would directly bring more than 20 martial emperors to the Chu family. It's so horrible. What kind of existence created the dragon and phoenix reversal of yin and yang 108 style? It's so scary. Not only is the training speed fast, it can also mass-produce strong ones. Any martial artist who obtains this can create a powerful family over hundreds of years. Even Long Yuan had a feeling. The Chu family wants to surpass the divine-level family in the future. The greatest hope still lies with Chu Long. When I entered the 9th layer space world before, he also specifically observed the pillar he had obtained from the Joyous Union sect secret realm. The more I look at it, the more I feel that the texture above is extremely mysterious. Just like they were created by heaven and earth. Even if he has reached his current state. But I still can't see the mystery of the pillar. So Long Yuan concluded that the powerful person who left this inheritance has definitely surpassed his current realm. And looking at it this way, the inheritance Chu Long received, it will definitely allow him and his harem to cultivate to a very high level. Chu Jingyu collected the treasure. I plan to call those tribesmen who meet the requirements. Distribute these rewards. Then, Long Yuan also handed over those emperor-level talismans to Chu Jingyu. Those things are consumables. There's no point staying there. Use it if you can. Beast God's reward is here. Chu Feng, who was watching his clansmen fighting in the martial arts arena, was delighted when he heard the voice beside him. I broke through the saint realm. You will get a mirror-breaking pill. With the blessing of this elixir, the time it takes to break through the martial emperor will be greatly shortened. Chu Zan also heard the clan leader's voice, but he shouted, "Wait a minute, wait until this battle is over before I go to claim the reward." His body is like a diamond, burst out with infinite power. Every punch thrown, containing this terrifying power, the void is exploding. On the other side of him, Chu Shiren, who was entangling the golden thunder all over his body, waved his fist like a thunder god. The two of them went from the physical body realm to the emperor realm. The other one has reached the martial emperor realm. They are evenly matched. For a moment, it was difficult to tell who would win. The fist light is vibrating. Thunder blazes. It seems to have the power to destroy the world. Fortunately, this martial arts arena has a protective barrier set up by Long Yuan. Otherwise, I don't know what the world would be like if they destroyed it. Tisk tisk tisk. It makes me really itchy. I want to go up and fight them for 300 rounds again. Chu Long stood in front of his harem. Outside of my body, a golden dragon shadow was spinning around him. It is just the manifestation of the Yang dragon body. He had just fought a big battle with Chu Feng, although he was defeated by one move in the end. But that battle also made him feel very excited. But if I bring my own saint-level harem, I will definitely win. He firmly believes this. Once he and a group of concubines jointly perform Dragon and Phoenix Harmony, or the combined attack formation in their skills. In the Wu Emperor realm, no one is their match. Not to mention you, even we are itching to do it. Shen Biao held Chu Ming in her arms and looked at the battlefield. A golden phoenix shadow hovered beside him. That was the vision of her yin phoenix body. Me too. Zhao Yuiying in the crowd also nodded. She has a pair of pink dragon horns on her head. Outside of the beautiful body, there is also a golden phoenix shadow hovering and dancing. She was originally the saintess of Tianlong Yuan. He and Chu Long, who came to Tianlong Yuan a year ago, fell in love. Then he came to the Chu family. The body of the flood dragon combined with the body of the yin phoenix gives her a sense of majesty and dignity that no one else has. Then let's go to the saint-level arena and compete with the tribesmen. Good. Shen Biao stuffed Chu Ming into Chu Long's arms. Leading a group of sisters, they walked towards the saint-level martial arts arena. There is a battlefield that belongs exclusively to them. Watching the backs of his harem as they left, Chu Long touched his chin. I was wondering which of the 108 positions should I use at night. Let's go, son, daddy is taking you to claim your reward. Chu Longzhong put Chu Ming on the ground and led him towards the main hall. Inside the palace, several martial emperors of the Chu family stood there in high spirits. Although the energy in the body is restrained, but it still exudes invisible power. Chu Tianyang looked at everyone. He sighed. A few years ago, I never thought that our Chu family would develop to this point. At that time, what I thought about most was how to break through the rank 3 martial master and how to train more rank 2 martial warriors for the family. As for the rank 4 martial master, I didn't even dare to think about it. But since Beast God came, our Chu family has completely changed. In just a few short years, our Chu family has come to this point. Looking at all of us standing here as martial emperors, I actually felt like I was in a dream. And all this is because of Beast God, so, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Chu Jingyu replied. The ancestor wants to say that no matter how far the Chu family develops in the future, we must not forget the grace of Beast God in recreating our Chu family. The others nodded as well. In their eyes, Beast God is greater than the sky. If there is no Beast God, even if they were not exterminated, even if we give them tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, it would be impossible to develop the Chu family to its current level. Beast God is our pillar in our faith, Chu Jianshan said in a deep voice. If it weren't for the Beast God standing in front of us, even though the Chu family now has so many martial emperors, I'm afraid it's impossible to escape the siege of Hell's Gate. You're right. In our Chu family, Beast God is our heaven. Chu Long also said seriously. So before distributing the imperial weapons, I have a few suggestions for you to discuss. Chu Tianyang said as he walked. First, hold a grand sacrifice for Beast God every 100 years to commemorate everything Beast God has done for our Chu family. Chapter 105, The Privileges of the Dragon Guard. 100 years. For ordinary people, several generations have passed. The reason why Chu Tianyang said this is, I am worried that some members of the Chu family will forget the grace that Beast God has bestowed on them. Even if the opponent is just an ordinary tribe member without cultivation talent. He doesn't allow it either. The others nodded. This is indeed a necessary practice. Beast God usually stays in the Dragon Emperor Palace and rarely goes out. A few years or 10 years may not be a big deal. As time goes by, it is inevitable that some people will forget or not know the existence of Beast God. This is absolutely not allowed in the Chu family. After everyone agreed, finally, it was decided to build a Beast God statue at the entrance square of the 9th layer space world. On the one hand, it is used for sacrifice. On the other hand, it can also highlight the status of Beast God in their Chu family. That's the second thing. I think we can increase the number of dragon guards appropriately. After all, as the family develops over time, there will be more and more strong people. Those dozens of people really seem a little too few. Of course, Jingyu will discuss this with the elders at that time to see whether to increase the number of dragon guards. Besides, the previous requirement of once every 6 months to select the dragon guards is a bit too short. The time can be extended a bit, otherwise I'm afraid there won't be any peaceful time for training in the future. Chu Tianyang said everything he needed to say. As for how to implement it specifically, leave it to the patriarch and the elders. Chu Jingyu nodded. Write these things down. Then we can hold a presbytery meeting. Let's discuss how to do it. Okay, let's choose the imperial weapon now. Chu Jingyu took out all the imperial weapons bestowed by Beast God. Put it in front of everyone and let them choose. I don't want it. I got an imperial weapon from the Nishui sect before. Chu Zhenan said. He is desperate battle sacred body. He is best at close combat. Only by freeing your hands can you unleash your full fighting power. Therefore, the golden cauldron obtained earlier is very suitable for me. I don't need it anymore. I have already refined the holy sword ink into my own spirit weapon. Chu Jianshan also said, the spirit weapon needs to be nourished by the martial artist's own blood and soul. To the point where they blend and become closely related to each other. If the spirit weapon is damaged, martial artist itself will also suffer backlash. But one advantage is that the innate spirit weapon can continue to advance as the martial artist grows. Just like the ink before was just a saint weapon. But as his cultivation level broke through, today's Mo has evolved into a genuine imperial weapon. Apart from these two, Chu Huang did not choose the imperial weapon either. Although he obtained the powerful inheritance of the desolate god pavilion. But he is still as low-key and taciturn as ever. As unkempt as ever, with messy hair and untidy beard. Even the clothes they wore did not look like those of a big family. He looks just like a farmer. But don't underestimate him. He is currently the only person in the Chu family who can fight on equal terms with Chu Feng, who possesses a chaos divine body, at the same level. Unparalleled combat power. Chu Long chose an imperial weapon called Yulong's sword. Fingers flicked the sword. Clang. The crisp sound of swords rang out. It was also accompanied by a slight dragon roar. Nice sword. Chu Long's eyes lit up. Although he is not a sword cultivator. But having a handy imperial weapon can also enhance one's own combat power. Chu Yunling looked at it. Finally, I picked out a silver spear that suits me well. Chu Zan touched his chin. His eyes scanned the imperial weapon back and forth. He is the same as Chu Zhenan. I like the feeling of punching the flesh. So freeing your hands is necessary. Chu Shiren, Chu Hongtu and others were also looking for suitable imperial weapons. Is there any imperial weapon with thunder attribute? I want a yang attribute imperial weapon. Chu Hongtu also searched among the imperial weapons. He was originally a Tianyang martial spirit. But after the trip to the Refining Heart Tower, his martial soul had evolved into the Holy Sun martial soul. The best match for the Holy Yang martial soul is the Yang attribute imperial weapon, or fire attribute is also fine. After a search, Chu Hongtu finally fixed his eyes on a bracelet that was blazing with flames. This imperial weapon is quite good. He put away the imperial weapon with satisfaction. It's a pity that we haven't trained an emperor-level artifact refining master yet, otherwise we could refine the emperor artifact you need according to your needs. Chu Jingyu sighed. What is the rank of the strongest artifact refining master in the family right now? Chu Tianyang asked. The strongest one right now is only a rank 7 artifact refining master. Rank 7. That means you can refine the spirit weapon needed for martial venerable. But you are still a long way from refining an imperial weapon. You have to put more effort into the artifact refining masters. Also, we must not neglect the training of alchemists and array masters. We must increase resources for both. Chu Tianyang told Chu Jingyu. Especially alchemist. Although they were unable to refine the heaven-defying mirror-breaking pill, physical fitness, and martial soul evolution pills bestowed by Beast God. But it also plays an important role in the long-term development of the family. If the magical pills of Beast God can make some members of the family stronger quickly, the elixir refined by the family's alchemist can permanently and continuously enhance the family's overall strength. Yes, ancestor. Chu Jingyu nodded. In fact, since Beast God issued the order, they have never neglected the cultivation of these talents. Everyone go back and practice hard. In half a month, a new round of Dragon Guard selection will be held. There has been no selection for a year now. So this matter must be put on the agenda. Everyone's eyes lit up. For them. But it's a great opportunity to compete with each other. And although they are all Dragon Guards, but there are also rankings. The ranking represents the strength among the Dragon Guards. Just then, Long Yuan's voice suddenly rang in everyone's ears. From today on, the Dragon Guards will enjoy the privilege of training in the Dragon Emperor Palace. It is necessary to make it special. Otherwise, how can the status of the Dragon Guard in the Chu family be reflected? This sentence shocked everyone. Can I enter the Dragon Emperor Palace to practice? Doesn't that mean I can practice beside the Beast God? This is the greatest honor for any member of the Chu family. At this time, Chu Jingyu said, the Dragon Emperor Hall contains this special essence of heaven and earth, which can make the cultivation speed faster. He had just entered the Dragon Emperor Palace some time ago. Get a general idea of what's going on inside. But now that the clan leader has said that, I am confused. Where does the essence of heaven and earth that we cultivate in the Tower of Time come from? Logically speaking, the essence of heaven and earth from somewhere else should not be enough for us to break through to the Emperor realm. Chu Shiren asked curiously. I don't know about this, but it should be the method of Beast God. Chu Jingyu thought for a moment and said, anything that cannot be explained in the Chu family must be the work of the Beast God. That's right, I brought the essence of heaven and earth in the Dragon Emperor Palace into the Tower of Time. Long Yuan's voice rang out. If there is not enough essence of heaven and earth, it is impossible for the Chu family to break through to the martial emperor realm. But now he has a divine level essence vein and a chaos essence vein. The divine level essence Long Yuan intends to merge the 9th layer space world. And the chaos essence veins are fused near the Dragon Emperor Palace. Chapter 106 Chuhuang. But compared to the divine level essence, the chaos essence vein has a stronger bonus on the speed of cultivation. Everyone's heart was shaken. Beast God really worked hard for them and considered every aspect of their lives very carefully. Chu Tianyang rubbed his hands. Enter the Dragon Emperor Palace to practice. This benefit is really great. Being able to practice with Beast God is not only an honor, but also an advantage. If you encounter problems in cultivation, you can also ask Beast God for advice at any time. For a time, the Chu family's ancestor also felt itchy. Do I want to join the Dragon Guard as well? Chu Tianyang, you and clan leader Chu Jingyu can come in and practice at any time. Long Yuan saw the two people's intentions. Just speak directly. Thank you Beast God. Just then, a pill flew towards Chu Jingyu. This is a physical fitness evolution pill, a unique reward for you as the clan leader. This, Chu Jingyu thanks Beast God for the elixir. Chu Jingyu's heart trembled. He hurriedly took the pill. With this elixir, his golden combat body can evolve to saint-level physique. If I can get another physical evolution pill in the heart refining tower by then, does that mean that I can evolve my physique to emperor-level physique? Others showed envy. Is this the welfare of the patriarch? I was actually treated specially by the Beast God. It seems I have to find an opportunity to enter the heart refining tower again, otherwise my sacred body will soon fall behind. Chu Tianyang muttered to himself. The Chu family now has two divine body members. Chu Feng and Chu Ming. Although emperor-level physique and martial spirit have not yet appeared, but there are already quite a few saint-level physiques. Chu Tianyang felt that he should go to the mind refining tower as soon as possible. He didn't believe that he would not be able to successfully pass the test of the mind refining tower this time. After the crowd dispersed, Chu Jingyu immediately started to work on the series of things that the ancestor had just mentioned. The Presbyterian Council was convened again. I started to discuss the specific matters with the elders again. As a patriarch, especially since the Chu family is still thriving, Chu Jingyu must always pay attention to all matters concerning the family. And the next day, the Chu family found a large number of great master sculptures from Azure Sun City. Have them carve a statue of a mythical beast in the square at the entrance to the 9th layer space world. Chu Jingyu originally wanted to use a lot of artifact refining materials for carving. But those great masters who carved them were just ordinary people. It is impossible to carve those special materials. So only fine jade can be used. This made all the senior executives of the Chu family quite regretful. During this time, the Chu family was in an uproar again. Many people are looking forward to it. The selection of the Dragon Guards will inevitably involve a fierce battle. Especially after learning that the Dragon Guards could enter the Dragon Emperor Palace to practice. Everyone's blood was boiling. If the Dragon Guards in the past were just a simple name with resources and treatment comparable to those of the elders, then now the privileges and glory of the Dragon Guards have been truly reflected. A few days later, The selection of the dragon guards came as expected. There were already crowds of people outside the martial arts arena in the space world. On this day, whether it is the martial artists of the Chu family or some ordinary people who cannot practice, come and watch this battle. On the martial arts field, the Chu family members who were competing for the Dragon Guard came on stage one after another, fighting fiercely above. From time to time, it caused the tribesmen watching the battle below to scream. Long Yuan also showed interest, looking out to the 9th layer space world martial arts arena from the Dragon Emperor Palace. This person named Chu Huang is so powerful. Just one glance, he saw the slovenly man who was fighting with Chu Jianshan. The other party held a black halberd. As he swung the sword, the black light shattered the sharp sword light that was shooting towards him. And his attacks carry this magical energy. Possesses the power to destroy everything. At this moment, the energy on the battlefield where they are is surging. The sword is full of energy. It seems like opening heaven is about to destroy the world. The people around were shocked. What the hell? How did this guy Chu Huang suddenly become so powerful? Some clansmen who knew Chu Huang suddenly widened their eyes after seeing him fight fiercely with Chu Jianshan without losing. I was horrified. This was before. Chu Huang is no different from them. Although I have some talent. But that's it. Not much of a genius. How come he suddenly became so powerful? And he became an emperor-level expert in one leap. It really made many people's jaws drop. What do you know? I heard Chu Huang himself say that he obtained the supreme inheritance of the desolate god pavilion. Someone in the crowd answered. He even told you something like this. I guess you two must have a very close relationship. Tisk. What's that? When we were kids we used to pee and play mud together. Besides, he himself said that there are quite a few people in our Chu family who have obtained the heaven-defying inheritance, so his is not a secret at all. Shut up, why are you trying to smooth things over? I'm the Martial Emperor now. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. What's wrong with Martial Emperor? Martial Emperor can't change the fact that he pees and muds with me. Quote. Divine weapon. This kid is actually holding a divine weapon. Spirit weapon, Great Desolate Sky Halberd. Rank, Divine weapon. Inheritance, 36 styles of the Wild God, Divine level, Divine ability. Long Yuan saw the other party's attributes through the system. He immediately showed a look of surprise. Desolate God Pavilion. I didn't expect that sacred land actually has divine level inheritance. Long Yuan frowned and thought. First there was the mysterious pillar of the Joyous Union sect. Then there was the Dragon Blood Lake of the Tianlong Yuan, then there was the Eternal Heavenly Monument of the Divine Fist sect, and the Sword Mountain of the Heavenly Sword sect. Could it be that someone deliberately left their heritage in the ancient times? This is definitely not accidental. As if someone deliberately. It seems like he left a legacy here intentionally. Could it be those divine level masters who have disappeared? All signs indicate that. In the past, there must have been strong people above divine level in the human world. But then it disappeared. Long Yuan thinks. This is most likely related to the Hell Gate. Watching the fierce battle on the martial arts field. Long Yuan nodded. Now that this inheritance has fallen into the hands of the Chu family, it must be carried forward. He guessed. These inheritances must have been obtained by someone before. But because of the suppression of the Hell Gate, even if you obtain those inheritances, they will eventually dissipate over time. This Dragon Guard selection is unprecedentedly grand. The effects of the Chu family's hundreds of years of training in the Tower of Time were all displayed at this moment. Chu Huang is very strong. He obtained the inheritance of the God of Wilderness. His strength is unfathomable. But Chu Jianshan was also not weak. His own heavenly sword martial soul, combined with the 9 tribulations sword body and the inheritance he had obtained on the Sword Mountain, made his combat power equally powerful. Even when facing Chu Huang, who possessed the inheritance of the God of Wilderness, he was not at a disadvantage at all. In another arena, Chu Yunling and Chu Zhenan are fighting. Oh my god, you're cheating. Looking at the 2 monster emperors attacking fiercely in front of him, Chu Zhenan cried out in pain. Especially since the other 2 spirit beasts have powerful bloodlines. One is the Royal Gold Dragon bloodline. The other is Dragon bloodline. The former's bloodline is definitely a terrifying existence comparable to the top physique of the human race divine level. The latter's true dragon body is also a genuine divine level physique. Their combat power is naturally terrifying. Today, two spirit beasts attacked him at the same time. How could Chu Zhenan, who possesses the desperate battle sacred body, be a match for the other party? Chapter 107. Did you ask Beast God to help? Chu Yunling also felt that it was inappropriate. Once his two spirit beasts appear, no one in the Chu family will be able to match him. So she took the Golden Saint Patriarch back. Only the Blue Sky Thunder Cloud Dragon is left outside. But even so, Chu Zhenan was still forced to retreat step by step. After hundreds of years of practice, the bloodline of the Blue Sky Thunder Cloud Zhao is already extremely close to the true dragon bloodline. This means that his combat power is already close to that of a person with the human race divine level physique. Amazing. Chu Yunling should be the strongest person in our Chu family, right? I'm afraid even Chu Huang and the others are no match for her. The people watching the battle were horrified. It's natural. In addition to her two monster emperor spirit beasts, she herself is also a true martial emperor, equivalent to 3 emperor level fighters. No matter how strong others are, they can never be her opponent. I really envy the beast tamer. Unfortunately, to become a beast tamer one needs to awaken the Grotto Heaven talent, which is a special talent that is even rarer than physical fitness and martial spirit. Many people looked at Chu Yunling with envy. Contract several powerful spirit beasts. Fight and beat up the enemy. It's so cool. Not long after, Chu Zhenan was defeated. But this doesn't mean he's not strong. But the spirit beast that Chu Yunling contracted was too strong. The Chu family has more than one martial arts arena. Various fierce battles were taking place on other fields. Chu Zan and Chu Shiren fought together again. If the previous battles were reserved. But this time we all tried our best. A cultivation realm becomes an emperor. A flesh body becomes an emperor. Each has its own advantages. Although Chu Shiren's physique is the saint-level purple thunder body, which is stronger than Chu Zan's king-level Vajra body, the latter has mastered the Hong fist, one of the 8 characters fist techniques. The fighting power is unimaginably strong. In this battle, the two of them also brought out their own unique skills. For a moment, the golden thunder filled the martial arts arena. Like a thunderous hell, the majestic divine power suppresses heaven and earth. Chu Shiren has developed the purple sky holy thunder body to an extremely powerful level. Under the horrified gaze of Chu Zan and the people around him, the thunder actually transformed into the appearance of Beast God, roaring and rushing towards Chu Zan. But this is not the end. The thunder then transformed into the form of the 10,000 Dragons Tower. Suppress the opponent. What the hell, what kind of divine ability is this? Chu Zan was horrified. At the moment when the real dragon and the divine tower appeared, he could faintly sense the presence of Beast God. This scared him a lot. I dared not to hold back at all. The Hong fist is performed. Fists flash across the sky, carrying an extremely violent and powerful aura. Kill the thunder dragon and the divine tower that were rushing towards them. In the Dragon Emperor Palace, Long Yuan was shocked. Even he could vaguely feel that Chu Shiren's thunder dragon and the divine tower carried a trace of his own aura. How come there is my scent? What is this divine ability? No, it's not just a trace of aura, it seems to contain a trace of power from me and the 10,000 Dragons Tower. Hiss. Long Yuan took a breath of cold air. His usually calm expression finally revealed a hint of shock. Although it only contains a little bit. But I am in the state of infinity. That little bit was enough to make Chu Shuran fight across the border. Really, even if Chu Zan mastered the Hong fist, after Chu Shiren used this divine ability, defeated in an instant. Are you cheating? Please help, Beast God. Chu Zan lay on the ground and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. A look of disbelief. At the moment of fighting, it feels as if the Beast God himself has arrived. Chu Shiren went over to help Chu Zan up and said, how could the Beast God who is selecting the Dragon Guards take action? Then why was there the aura of Beast God just now? I was scared to death. That's a divine ability that I have researched myself, but I have only scratched the surface of it at this point. Chu Shiren explained complacently. Chu Zan's eyes widened, looking at Chu Shiren in disbelief. Chu Tianyang and Chu Jingyu, who had just arrived here, almost stumbled and fell to the ground. The divine ability that you developed yourself. Oh my god. Such an awesome person actually appeared in their Chu family. How did you create this divine ability? Chu Tianyang asked curiously. He also felt the faint breath of Beast God just now. I thought it was the Beast God himself. This was really just an accident. At the time, I just wanted to use thunder to evolve Beast God's innate spirit weapon, but I ended up evolving a trace of the spirit of that weapon. And it seems that he has a bit of the other party's strength. Chu Shiren said, touching his chin. So powerful. Chu Zan's eyes widened. Doesn't that mean that the Thunder Dragon possesses a bit of the power of the Beast God? If that's the case, then Chu Shiren's fighting ability might be a little unbelievable. After all, no one knows how powerful Beast God is. Even if there is only a trace. I'm afraid it's enough to suppress everyone. That's amazing. It seems that our Chu family has really given birth to an extraordinary person this time. Chu Jingyu exclaimed. Just then, Chu Shiren was stunned. Because the voice of Beast God actually rang in his ears. What's wrong? Chu Tianyang asked as he looked at Chu Shiren, whose face showed a strange expression. Beast God told me to go find him after the Dragon Guard selection is over. Hiss, it seems that the divine ability you used earlier also attracted the attention of Beast God. If I'm not mistaken, Beast God may grant you an opportunity. Chu Jingyu said seriously. Even though the divine ability Chu Shiren created was only a prototype. Not yet perfect, but anyone can see the power of this divine ability. Now I can borrow a little bit of the power of Beast God. Once it is perfected in the future. Just thinking about it made everyone feel horrified. Long Yuan, who had been watching this place, also showed a look of horror. He originally thought that Chu Shiren's divine ability should have come from the inheritance of the sacred land. But I didn't expect it was my own creation. This level of understanding is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Chu Shiren has a high level of comprehension. Long Yuan commented. Physical fitness, martial soul, spirit cave, and understanding are all considered cultivation talent. The higher the martial artist's level of understanding, the faster they will be at comprehending the divine ability of martial arts. Moreover, the divine ability that the other party created is extraordinary. Long Yuan doesn't mind giving him a hand. The selection of the Dragon Guards finally came to an end after dozens of days. As expected by Chu Tianyang and others, Chu Shiren became one of the Twin Dragon Lords. It is mainly his divine ability that has been pioneered through amazing. This came as a shock to many people. I thought the other Dragon Lord would be Chu Huang or Chu Jianshan, but I didn't expect it to be Chu Shiren. Chu Jianshan was the previous Shuanglongzhen. Chu Huang is a transcendent level dark horse that has recently emerged. The fighting power is unmatched. On par with Chu Jianshan. But no one expected this to be the result. The divine ability that Chu Shiren created himself is too powerful. He actually possesses a trace of the power of the Beast God. Doesn't that mean he can easily crush everyone? I'm so envious. I wonder when I will be able to create such a powerful martial art, the divine ability. Haha, don't even think about it. Creating a divine ability technique is not that easy. Not only does it require extraordinary comprehension, but it also requires a great opportunity. Sometimes inspiration only lasts for a moment. There are now countless powerful people in our Chu family, but Chu Shiren is the only one who can create his own divine ability. It is obvious that this is not a simple matter at all. Quote. Chapter 108 Turning the sect leader into a sister. As for the other Dragon Lord, it was Chu Yunling. She took the lead with the fighting power of 3 martial emperors. But in the end, he was defeated by Chu Shiren. Once his self-created divine ability is used, no one in the martial emperor realm can resist it, not even Chu Yunling. In the Dragon Emperor Palace, Chu Shiren stood in front of Long Yuan respectfully. You are great to have created such a powerful divine ability. Long Yuan praised generously. This was the first time he praised a member of the Chu family. Chu Shiren was so excited that his face turned red. At this time, Long Yuan took out a dragon scale with yin and yang patterns and a black tower shadow. He said, "This is one of my dragon scales and a mark of my innate spirit weapon. It should be helpful for you to comprehend the divine ability. I am very optimistic about your divine ability. Study it carefully, it will be a powerful means for you to suppress powerful enemies in the future. Yes. Chu Xuran excitedly accepted the treasure given by Long Yuan and said, I will not let Beast God down. He didn't leave. Instead, he stayed in the Dragon Emperor Palace to continue practicing and perfecting his divine ability. Spiritual sense penetrates into the dragon scales. Suddenly, I saw a huge dragon stretching across the universe. The dragon's body was filled with yin and yang energy. The sun, moon and stars are suspended. The mighty power suppresses the heaven and earth. Hiss, is this the true form of Beast God? Chu Xuran took a breath of cold air. It turns out that what we saw in the Dragon Emperor Palace was not the true form of Beast God at all. Rather, it is his size after being shrunk countless times. With this mark of Beast God, I can observe a more realistic Beast God, and then I can continuously enhance the power of divine ability. The closer the creatures or objects he created with the power of thunder are to his original body, the more terrifying the power it contains. When I think of this, Chu Xuran began to comprehend it carefully. One after another, many dragon guards entered the Dragon Emperor Palace. How strange. Why does the essence of heaven and earth here appear black? Chu Zan was puzzled. It was the first time he had seen the essence of heaven and earth in this form. Normally, if the essence of heaven and earth is too concentrated, shouldn't it turn into white mist? It should be a high-level essence of heaven and earth. The energy contained in it is enormous. The Golden Saint Patriarch exclaimed. Beast God had said to him before. The Chu family has an environment suitable for Emperor-level masters to practice. Now it seems that it is true. Chu Feng suddenly said in shock, this contains the power of chaos. He could feel that his chaotic divine body seemed to be particularly active here. Moreover, his chaos body seemed to actively absorb the chaotic power here, becoming more and more perfect. This made Chu Feng very happy. According to the inheritance he received from Yunshao sect in Jushao mountain range, the chaos divine body that obtained the martial emperor was not complete. Looks like I have a chance to lubricate my chaos divine body to perfection here. Wait until the chaos divine body is complete and then slowly develop the chaos pearl. He did not forget that he still had that treasure in his body. That is something more valuable than the chaos divine body. Chu Feng is right. There is a chaos vein here. It is an existence that surpasses the divine level vein. You can practice here without any worries. If you encounter something you don't understand in cultivation, you can also consult me. Long Yuan's voice came, although his cultivation was all rewarded by the system. But those realms of realization are real. Yes, Beast God. Everyone responded excitedly. Certainly. There were also some people who did not enter the Dragon Emperor Hall to practice right away. After all, he had been secluded in the Tower of Time for hundreds of years. You also need to relax. For example, Chu Long took his group of concubines on a trip to travel around the mountains and rivers. It's not just a pure sightseeing trip. Chu Long took the concubines back to their parents' home to visit. Valley of Flowers. Ancestor Chu Min looked at Shen Biao and the other two women in shock. The sound was a little sharp. He trembled all over and said, You have all become saints. These three people were from Baihua Valley and married into the Chu family 1 or 2 years ago. But how is this possible? She clearly remembered that although these people had delicate looks and slim figures, but in their 100-flower valley, it is just an ordinary existence. Not that outstanding. After all, they are rich and beautiful women. How come she has only been married to the Chu family for 2 or 3 years? Has the strength improved by leaps and bounds? Actually reached martial saint. Even saint level or even stronger special physiques can't achieve such a level. On one side is a face that is stunningly beautiful. The slender clan leader Wen Ruyu also looked at Shen Biao and the others in shock. Even though there is no more oppression from the beast-controlling sect, she can practice with confidence. Now he is only at the martial sovereign level. How on earth did these people do it? Shen Biao smiled and said, Ancestor, it is all thanks to the powerful inheritance that my husband obtained in the Joyous Union sect that we have the opportunity to break through to the martial saint realm. Moreover, the Chu family possesses magical means beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Although that kind of exercise posture is a bit embarrassing, but the effect is really good. In terms of their qualifications, it is almost impossible to break through the saint level through conventional cultivation methods. But under the cleansing of that technique, not only did it allow them to break through layers of unbreakable barriers, it also gives them a strong and special physique. You are all martial saints. Until then, Chu Min just noticed that the group of beautiful women standing behind Chu Long were all martial saints. Oh my god, how is this possible? Is that inheritance so powerful? Chu Min's head was buzzing. Almost fainted on the ground. When did martial saint become so worthless? A large group of them appear as soon as they appear. Even the former sacred land such as the Divine Fist sect did not have such a foundation. In fact, martial saint is nothing in the Chu family now. The ancestor should also know that the Chu family has produced many martial emperors. My husband is also one of the martial emperors of the Chu family. This made Chu Min and Wen Ruyu stunned. He looked at Chu Long in disbelief. This one looks elegant and graceful. The handsome boy is actually the martial emperor. The elders on the side widened their eyes. With a big mouth. I couldn't come back to my senses for a long time. Then everyone hurriedly saluted. This is the martial emperor. In the past, they have no chance at all to see such an existence. Now suddenly I encounter. It feels like a concubine is suddenly favored by the emperor. Night. Chu Long and his group stayed in Baihua Valley. However, Shen Biao and her companions secretly approached the sect leader Wen Ruyu. Because the look in the eyes of the Bai Tian sect master when he looked at Chu Long was clearly shining. Shen Biao and others felt that. Maybe you can expand the clan leader into your husband's harem and make them your sisters. It's not that they are so generous. But Chu Long's combat power is too high. They took turns to fight but were no match for him. So there is no way. I can only continue to expand Chu Long's harem. Until he is satisfied. A few days later, Wen Ruyu passed the position of head to the current saintess. And she followed Chu Long away. Anyway, with the Chu family as a backer. No one dares to attack Baihua Valley now. Oh, I really envy these young people. Chu Min watched Wen Ruyu leave with Chu Long and others. I couldn't help but sigh. Chapter 109 I feel like someone is taking advantage of me. If I were a few hundred years younger, maybe. Chu Min touched her smooth face. Although I am a little old. The maintainability is not bad at all. And it looks more charming. Why don't those blind people come and have a deep talk with me? As long as Shen Biao and the others open their mouths. Then I would just follow them and leave. Chu Min sighed deeply. My heart is full of regrets. Ancestor, that guy named Chu Long is so handsome. I really want to be with her. Wangshu Saintess, who had just taken office as the sect leader, looked at Chu Long's back with slightly red eyes. You don't ever have such dangerous thoughts. And you've only met him once. How could you come up with such a ridiculous idea? Go into seclusion immediately and cut off these troubles. Chu Min was shocked. The former leader was just kidnapped. The current sect leader actually wants to follow the other party. How is this possible? Did they still want to develop Baihua Valley? Wangshu curled his lips. I had no choice but to leave here. At this time, Chu Min actually heard the elders whispering about wanting to leave with Chu Long. My scalp suddenly went numb. It's poisonous. The other party is definitely poisonous. A visit to R100 Flower Valley actually caused us to fall from top to bottom. What is so attractive about him? They don't know that Chu Long's Yang dragon body has a very strong attraction to the opposite S*X. This attraction is the attraction between yin and yang. As long as the opposite S*X gets close to him, a feeling will arise. Only by integrating yin and yang with each other can we achieve complete perfection. On the other side, after Chu Long left Baihua Valley with Wen Ruyu and others, he took his women back to their mothers' homes to visit their relatives, and then went on a trip to other places. After being in seclusion for hundreds of years, this world seems to have a different charm when I look at it again. Bright Moon said with a smile. They have already left the 6 regions controlled by the Chu family. Heading towards a more vast place in the human world. Yes. I didn't dare to go out before because of my limited strength, but now it seems that the scenery outside is quite nice. Chu Long nodded. At this time, they arrived at the Jusheng city, the largest city in Tianluo territory. It is said that 9 martial saints were born here at the same time during its heyday. So I took the opportunity to come here for fun. But they were so eye-catching. Because as your cultivation level increases, both men and women change their appearance in the direction they like. This not only makes Shen Biao and others have exquisite looks, but also exudes a nobleness that is difficult to match with other women, which easily makes people want to conquer them. Where did these stunning beauties come from? Chu Long and others were walking on the street. It immediately attracted everyone's attention. Sudden. A strong figure descended from the sky. Like a meteorite, it fell in front of Chu Long and others. Blocked their way. The visitor was a burly, middle-aged man with a full beard. "Girls, my saint child invites you." The middle-aged man looked at Shen Biao and the others and said in a dignified voice. He looked up at the rooftop. Chu Long and others looked over. I saw a handsome young man holding a wine glass standing on the roof, holding the wine glass in his hand and looking down with a smile on his face. Seeing Shen Biao and others looking over, the smile on Fu Ming's face became even more intense. He raised the wine glass in his hand to the crowd and said in a bright voice, "I am the great principal sacred land saint child Fu Ming, and I specially invite all the beauties to come up and have a drink with me." The people around, whose eyes were shining because of the sudden appearance of a group of beauties, were shocked when they heard the words, "Great principal sacred land." He quickly turned his gaze away from Shen Biao and the others. Because they know, the woman favored by the great principal sacred land saint child. It's not something they can covet. Otherwise the consequences may be unbearable for them. What a pity, such a group of beauties fell into the hands of the other party. It makes me sad just thinking about it. Hey, who let them rely on the great principal sacred land? They are the overlord of our Tianluo territory. There are several saints in the sect. Who dares to disobey their orders? It's a pity for a group of beautiful and charming ladies. I heard that all the women who were played by Saint Child eventually died. Shut up, you dare to say such things, stay away from me, I don't want to get into trouble. Quote. Boom. As soon as the words fell, a fist of light burst out. The martial artist was immediately hit on the head by the bearded burly man. Humph, how can you slander Saint Child? The bearded man snorted coldly. Looking at Shen Biao and others, he said in a tough manner, "Ladies, please come in. It is your blessing to be favored by my Saint Child." Roll. Shen Biao's eyes wrinkled slightly. He shouted coldly. Along the way, they have encountered this kind of situation many times. Humph, you don't know what's good for you. The strong man snorted coldly. He immediately stretched out his big hand, like the claw of a wild beast, and grabbed towards Shen Biao and others. Since soft ones don't work, then let's use the hard method. Anyway, the result would be the same if we were caught in Saint Child's bed. 5 fingers open, the light blooms, the heavens and the earth are humming. This claw seemed to want to grab Shen Biao and others. Snort. Chu Long snorted coldly, with a wave of the folding fan in his hand. A tremendous force descended and hit the sturdy man's chest like a tidal wave. There was a loud bang. The strong man's body flew backwards like a cannonball, hitting the attic next to the street. Suddenly, the attic collapsed in pieces. Seeing this scene, the people around were suddenly shocked. Oh no, he actually dared to hurt Saint Child's followers. Let's go. It's dangerous here. The people around them immediately scattered like birds and beasts. Sure enough, the next moment, Fu Ming, who was originally standing on the attic, appeared in front of Chu Long with a cold expression. Who are you, kid? How dare you attack Saint Child's people? Hee, who am I? Chu Long smiled. He put his arms around Shen Biao's slender waist and said, "Are you blind and can't you see that I am their husband?" Fu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. I clenched my fists and my eyes turned red. How could that slender and soft waist be hugged by other men? At this moment, Fu Ming felt as if his cabbage was being eaten by a wild pig. He was so angry that his breathing became rapid. He said in a deep voice, "How is it possible? Are you worthy of being their husband?" Each of those women had a noble temperament. She is not like an ordinary woman. Instead, it seems to come from some powerful force. May I ask which faction you are from? Fu Ming took a deep breath and asked. It's just an ordinary little family, not worth mentioning. Chu Long shook his head. In that case, then you might as well die. Fu Ming took decisive action. The woman he liked. No one can escape from the Five-Finger Mountain. A palm strikes out. The bright light blooms. A terrifying aura burst out from his body. It's just martial sovereign cultivation. However, it also exploded with the powerful combat power of the venerable level. Oh, he is actually a person with a special physique. No wonder the fighting power is so extraordinary. Chu Long saw that as the other party attacked, a blue diamond-shaped mark appeared on his forehead. A chilly atmosphere permeated the surroundings. Chilled to the core, instantly, the nearby attics were frozen into ice sculptures. Chapter 110, Hellgate Martial Emperor appears. You have some experience. It is an honor for you to die under my icy sacred body. Don't worry, after you die, I will take care of your wife and children. Fu Ming laughed out loud. However, as Chu Long's finger fell, tap on Fu Ming's palm, the powerful force instantly penetrated the opponent's entire arm. With a bang, Fu Ming's entire arm suddenly exploded. Not only that, even his entire ice field exploded. Ah! Fu Ming screamed. He looked at Chu Long with horror. I have unleashed the fighting power of Martial Venerable. How is it possible that we are not the opponent's match? Could the other party be a martial saint? Ancestor, help me! Fu Ming shouted into the void. The next moment, an old man with white hair and beard appeared beside him. You have gone too far. He is just a child after all. The old man is Fu Ming's protector. He would not have taken action unless the other party was in a life or death crisis. So he saw everything just now. Just a child. Chu Long looked at the other party in astonishment. He sneered and said, so the child can do whatever he wants. If children could do whatever they wanted, everyone would just have children. So what do you want, sir? I'll give you two choices. Either he dies, or you die together. Ha ha ha. Wen Bukchi laughed loudly. It is said that he is the great principal sacred land saint child. I am also a genuine martial saint perfection, and I am also one of the ancestors of the sacred land. How can you let us die together? If you want to get involved in this business, you need to have a background. If you have the guts to tell me the power behind you, I, the great principal sacred land, wouldn't mind paying you a visit. But at this moment, a huge hand suddenly fell from the sky, covering towards the 9 holy cities. The giant palm was filled with red light, exuding unrivaled divine power. Just this one strike, the entire 9 holy cities can be completely destroyed. Martial Emperor. Is the Martial Emperor taking action? When the protector Wen Bukchi saw the hand that fell from the sky, he immediately jumped up like a rooster with its feathers standing on end. How could a Martial Emperor attack here? It's over, I'm going to die. Wen Bukchi fell to the ground with a plop. I no longer have the confidence I had before. Martial Emperor takes action. No one in the city can escape. Even if he is a martial saint, it won't work. But he didn't understand. How come the Martial Emperor appears here? All the martial artists in the city were instantly in a state of panic. The unrivaled power emanating from the Martial Emperor made everyone feel like they were about to suffocate to death. Chu Long originally wanted to attack Wen Bukchi and the others. But after seeing the hand falling from the sky, he couldn't help but look up at the sky. Hellgate Martial Emperor. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Through the void, he saw the man behind him. The hellish white flame between the eyebrows is the best sign. Did he make the move because he sensed his own aura? We'll settle our accounts later. Chu Long glanced coldly at Wen Bukchi and the other man. Clench your right hand into a fist. Suddenly blasted into the air. Wen Bukchi was stunned. How dare this person attack the Martial Emperor? Where does he get the courage? Boom! A sound like thunder roared in the sky. Chu Long's fist collided with the opponent's pressing palm. A wave of energy exploded above the 9 holy cities, sweeping the sky 4 extremities. Fists and palms retreated from each other. Chu Long took a group of concubines and jumped into the sky. Because he noticed, the Martial Emperor who came this time was not just one, but there are 3. Wen Bukchi was completely dumbfounded. What did you just see? That man fought the Martial Emperor head-on and wasn't hurt at all. How is this possible? How could a martial saint fight against a martial emperor? Does he have some extremely powerful special physique? Or, is he also a martial emperor? Thinking of this, Wen Buki's breathing stopped. If it was in the past, it might really be impossible, but now, in addition to the Hell Gate having the martial emperor, the Chu family in the Qian domain also has one. Could it be that the other party is from the Chu family? It's broken, it's really broken this time. Wen Bukchi was really scared. Any martial emperor has the power to easily destroy their great principal sacred land. If the other party is really the martial emperor of the Chu family, then their great principal sacred land would be in danger. You've gotten into big trouble this time. Wen Bukchi pointed at Fu Ming and said angrily. It was okay that he had forced himself on other women before, but now he has even extended his hands to the martial emperor's woman. It's true that if someone wants to die, no one can stop him. At this moment, he was thinking about sending Fu Ming out directly. Lest you bring disaster into the great principal sacred land. As for Fu Ming, my mind is in a state of confusion at this moment. I haven't yet recovered from the contrast between what happened before and after. Maybe we don't need to worry about this ancestor too soon. No matter how strong the Chu family martial emperor is, he should not be a match for the Hell Gate martial emperor. Fu Ming murmured in a trembling voice. This made Wen Bukchi slightly stunned. Yes, the strongest person in the Chu family should be their mysterious beast god. Only the beast god is not there. Others should not be a match for the Hell Gate martial emperor. Thinking of this, he breathed a sigh of relief. I hope the Hell Gate martial emperor can successfully kill the opponent. Seeing the crisis resolved, everyone in the city gasped for breath. Cold sweat soaked my back. At that moment, everyone felt like they had walked through the gates of hell. Martial Emperor, there is actually a martial emperor in R9 Saint City. Some powerful people saw the collision just now. There were turbulent waves in my heart. Apart from the Chu family, is there anyone who has broken through the martial emperor at this time? Is it true that the deterrent power of Hell Gate is becoming weaker and weaker, and it can no longer control the situation? Above the 9 holy cities, Chu Long, Shen Biao and others stood there. He looked calmly at the 3 people in front of him. Where are you from, Martial Emperor? One of the 3 asked in a deep voice. He stood there with his arms folded, with 9 energy balls of the 5 elements of entanglement suspended behind him. He exudes a terrifying aura like the sea and the abyss. This person is actually a perfect and powerful martial emperor. Badian, why are you talking so much nonsense? Who cares where this martial emperor came from? Have you forgotten the orders of the sect master and the others? Anyone who breaks through to the emperor level without the approval of our Hell Gate will be killed without mercy. The black tortoise emperor beside him said in a serious tone. His pupils were as black as ink. It seems to contain stars. It's heart-pounding to watch. After saying that, Emperor Black Tortoise is about to take action. They followed the orders of several sect leaders, patrolling the entire human world. On the one hand, he killed those strong men who secretly broke through the martial emperor. At the same time, deter those martial saints who want to break through the martial emperor. I just happened to pass by here and felt a faint scent of martial emperor. Wait a minute, seniors. How can a mere early-stage martial emperor be qualified to challenge 2 seniors who have reached the level of perfect martial emperor? Let the juniors do it. Another person stood up. He was the one who just took action. He is also the weakest among the 3. Only the mid-stage martial emperor. But it is completely enough to deal with a martial emperor in the early stage. Okay, then you can do it. We'll support you. The Black Tortoise Emperor nodded. To deal with a martial emperor in the early stage, there is indeed no need for the 3 of them to attack at the same time. Chapter 111 The battle begins. No need, you guys should just attack together. Just as Xing Qi stepped forward, Chu Long's voice suddenly rang out. Haha, I think you don't know the gap between emperor levels. How dare a mere early martial emperor to speak so arrogantly? Today I will let you see the gap between us. Xing Qi sneered. The body instantly appeared in front of Chu Long. The huge hand clenched the long claws, accompanied by the brilliant divine light. He grabbed Chu Long's head decisively and sharply. Hey, I've already warned you, you guys are the ones who are going to give me your heads one by one. Chu Long sighed. The next moment, his expression suddenly became sharp, accompanied by a dragon roar. A golden dragon shadow appeared beside him. One punch out. The golden dragon roared and the sky exploded. Blood spurted and fell like rain. Just one punch. He then broke the arm that Xingqi had grabbed. I've already given you a chance. Looking at the horrified Xingqi, Chu Long said in a deep voice, set up the formation. The voice fell. Shen Biao and the others immediately flew to various places with swords in hand. Just a moment, a huge formation was formed. They surrounded Xingqi and the other two in the center. If you look from above, their positions vaguely formed the shadow of a phoenix spreading its wings and soaring in the sky. And this, it is the battle formation recorded in the Dragon and Phoenix reversal of Yin and Yang 108. This battle array can accommodate up to 108 women. The more people there are, the higher their cultivation level will be. The greater the power that the battle formation can unleash. But this scene, this made the Martial Emperor and the Black Tortoise Emperor laugh. What a bunch of cute little ones who are not afraid of tigers. You actually want to use a group of martial Saint Realm Masters to surround and kill us. Hee, don't you know that we are the perfect martial emperors? The Martial Emperor laughed and shook his head. If the Martial Saint can pose a threat to the Martial Emperor, then they, the Hell Gate, would have probably already wiped out all the Martial Saints in the human world. It seems that some people become arrogant after breaking through the Martial Emperor realm, and really think that the Martial Emperor realm is invincible. However, they don't know that there are several levels of Martial Emperor realms, and each small realm is as different as the difference between heaven and earth. The Black Tortoise Emperor also snorted. He didn't take martial saints like Shen Biao seriously at all. You'll know the result after trying it. The dragon roared. The imperial weapon, the Yulong's sword, appeared in Chu Long's hand. Since you want to die faster, I will grant your wish. The Martial Emperor growled. The 9 5-element energy balls floating behind him began to spin rapidly. A surge of breath burst out, collapsed the surrounding void, suppressed the heaven and earth. As he pointed, 3 of the energy balls suddenly flew out. Carrying this infinite power that could crush everything in its path, he flew towards the battle formation formed by Shen Biao and others. My 5 elements energy jade has the power to destroy everything. I want to see how you little martial saints can break my attack. The Martial Emperor said domineeringly. He did not use his full strength. There are still 6 energy jades floating behind him. As Martial Emperor, he is so confident. That's right. Then I'll play with you guys and show you what an Emperor-level warrior is. The Black Tortoise Emperor sneered. He stood there without moving. But the dark light that bloomed from his eyes turned into 2 beams of light. Like 2 black arrows, they pierced through the void and stabbed towards Chu Long. Kill it with one blow. Saint-level physique, dark holy eyes. Xingqi saw the 2 seniors take action. My heart also calmed down. Before he made his move, he had never expected that the opponent would be so powerful. It's only the early stage of Martial Emperor. But he blew up his entire arm with one punch. At the moment when the 2 of them started to fight, Chu Long, Shen Biao and others also attacked at the same time. Hold head high. Ooh. The sound of dragon roaring and phoenix singing suddenly rang out. A huge, lifelike, majestic golden dragon phantom and an extremely gorgeous golden phoenix phantom suddenly appeared in the sky. Chu Long stood in the head of the golden dragon. Shen Biao and others stood inside the golden phoenix. The dragon and the phoenix roared. Killed the 3 martial emperors in the center. You should feel honored to be the first group of people to experience the power of our combined attack formation. The Chu Long in the golden dragon's mouth slashed out a sword energy. Instantly shattered the 2 rays of black light that burst out from Emperor Black Tortoise's pupils. The golden phoenix also emitted dazzling golden light. In just a moment, the 3 5-element energy balls released by the Martial Emperor were shattered. This scene, the 2 Martial Emperors were obviously shocked. Especially the Martial Emperor. How could his attack be crushed by a group of little martial saints? When the 2 were in shock, the golden dragon and the phoenix are entangled together. At this moment, it seems that there are no dragons and phoenixes. Instead, it turned into a ball of pure golden light. The golden light shines upon the heaven and earth. Let the blue sky turn golden. What is this divine ability? The Martial Emperor's pupils shrank. He actually felt a force that made his heart palpitate. No matter what divine ability it is, we must give it our all. The Black Tortoise Emperor said seriously. The next moment a golden seal appeared above his head. This is his imperial weapon, the mountain and river seal. The martial emperor nodded. The imperial weapon, 5 elements wheel, also appeared behind him. As the vast energy surges in my body, 9 complete 5-element energy balls appeared behind him again. Heavenly fist. Dark underworld. The sound fell. The 2 men burst into divine light and rushed towards the golden ball of light. Without any reservation, the 2 of them instantly unleashed their strongest killing moves. Behind them, Xing-Chi, whose arm had recovered, followed closely with a long sword in his hand. That was also his imperial weapon. Even the 2 seniors burst out with their strongest fighting power. What right does he have to hide his shortcomings? Boom! Above the sky, the golden light ball showed no fear in the face of the 3 people with overwhelming momentum. Go straight ahead and attack. There was a loud explosion like the sky and earth collapsing. The vast divine light blooms. The terrifying imperial power permeated the air. The powerful energy covers this world. Emperor-level strong men fight each other. Every blow seems to be able to overturn the world. The mountain and river seal of the Black Tortoise Emperor radiated infinite light, evolving into a mountain and river universe that suppressed with unparalleled force. It was as if a piece of sky was pressing down on the golden light ball. Boom! Space is collapsing and annihilating, transformed into endless dark void. A loud shout came from his mouth. Black imperial light burst forth from his fists, and each punch carried the power to burn the sky and boil the sea. This is the terrifying power of the sacred bodies, dark holy eye. At the same time, a vast area like the pitch-black demon realm appeared. The golden light enveloped Chu Long and others. This is the ultimate move of Emperor Black Tortoise, Dark Underworld. In the field, any martial artist under the martial emperor will be wiped out in an instant once he is enveloped. Even the martial emperor entered. They will also be strongly suppressed. We can only let him slaughter us. But whether it was his mountain and river seal that suppressed the heaven and earth, or his unparalleled boxing that even the martial emperor did not dare to confront head-on, or his dark domain that covered the sky and the stars. When approaching the golden light ball, all the attacks were dissipated without a trace. This made the Black Tortoise Emperor even more horrified. The other party is clearly just an early-stage martial emperor and a group of martial saints. Why could he, a martial emperor at the perfect level, be helpless against such an attack? Chapter 112, Imperial War, Martial Emperor Falls. The same is true for Martial Emperor. His Wheel of 5 Elements exudes infinite power that overwhelms the world. The power of the 5 elements rotates endlessly, destroying all things. The tyrant god fist blasted out. A fist imprint like a mountain, surrounded by the power of the 5 elements, exudes a force that can destroy everything in its path. Blast through the void, kill towards the golden light. This is also his most powerful divine ability. In the gate of hell, even some powerful people who have reached the level of martial emperor did not dare to resist head-on. However, what shocked him was that even his most powerful attack couldn't break through the defense of that ball of golden light. What the hell is this? When the 2 attacked, Xing-Chi also roared and rushed over. The majesty of our hell gate cannot be challenged. He roared. The energy in the body poured into the imperial weapon in his hand like a flood. In an instant, the sword shines brightly and dazzlingly. Go to hell. The long sword in his hand swung. He slashed out a 10,000-meter-long golden sword beam and slashed at the golden light ball in front of him who were fighting with the 2 seniors of Tai Black Tortoise Emperor. Not surprisingly, his attack once again dissipated in the golden light. Ha! Nice attack power, but it's still useless. Chu Long sneered, although this was their first time to perform a combined attack formation. But I have practiced it many times during the time in the Tower of Time. At present, Shen Biao and the others are only at saint level. If all can reach emperor level, at that time, the power of the battle formation was enough to kill not only the emperor but also the gods. You have successfully attracted my attention, so I will start with you. Outside the light group, the shadows of the golden dragon and phoenix emerged. Instantly it turned into 2 golden lights and shot towards Xing-Chi. I don't believe you can do anything to me. He was not afraid. As a martial emperor, naturally, he also had a strong belief that he was invincible in the same realm. Be careful, don't be reckless. The martial emperor hurriedly reminded. But Xingqi had already killed him. But he is not reckless. A silver lotus with 33 petals in full bloom emerged from between his eyebrows. Levitating with his head above. On the white lotus. Stars emerged one by one, emitting silver starlight. And under the lotus, there are 3 green lotus leaves. As for the lotus rhizome, then it sank into the dark chaos. Now, subscribe to Chinese novel Audio Wave. The light blooming from the lotus enveloped Xingqi below. Is it the imperial weapon, Chaos Starry Sky Lotus? The Black Tortoise Emperor was surprised. This is an extremely powerful and special emperor weapon. Legend has it that this is the original body of a monster emperor from ancient times. Later, as the monster emperor passed away, his true form appears in the form of an unparalleled emperor weapon. Hasn't this weapon always been in the hands of the 7th sect master, Muto? How come it is here with Xingqi? It seems that the rumor that Xingqi is the illegitimate son of the 7th sect master is not groundless. If not, how could this peerless emperor weapon appear in the hands of Xingqi, who is only in the middle stage of martial emperor? But it's better this way. This way, the opponent will never be able to break through the defense of Chaos Star Lotus with their methods. The Black Tortoise Emperor nodded. But just as he finished speaking, the 2 golden lights transformed from the dragon and phoenix passed through the defense of the Chaos Star Lotus. Pierced Xingqi's forehead, feeling that the other party's vitality completely disappeared at this moment. Now both of them were dumbfounded. Even though this offensive and defensive emperor weapon has appeared. How come this is the result? This is bad. How can I explain this to the 7th sect master? The Black Tortoise Emperor's face turned ugly. Only by capturing him and handing him over to the sect master can we avoid being blamed. The martial emperor said in a deep voice. I just don't believe that there is really no way to kill him. In an instant, the 2 of them rushed towards the golden light transformed by Chu Long and others again. Husband, are you going to kill them with one strike? Shen Biao asked. No rush. We finally met 2 martial emperors with whom we can practice. Let's hone our skills in this battle formation. Good. In the past, practice was practice. There is no opportunity for this kind of actual practice. Powerful energy fluctuations sounded in the sky. The powerful divine ability and imperial weapons of Tai Black Tortoise and Emperor collided with the golden light. One terrifying energy burst out after another. The 9 holy cities below. Everyone looked up at the sky in horror. Looking at the falling body made my scalp tingle. What's this? This is the fall of the martial emperor. Oh my god. The martial emperor of Hellgate has fallen. Someone saw the body falling and screamed loudly. The entire 9 Saints city was suddenly in chaos. Many people cannot see the specific battle situation clearly. All I can see is the dazzling light in the starry sky. Like planets colliding, every time it bursts out with extremely bright light. Who on earth has such a strong power that he not only killed one of the 3 martial emperors but also fought on equal terms with the other 2? The martial saints of the great principal sacred land came after noticing the fierce battle here. Everyone looked up at the starry sky in horror. When they reach this stage, we can already get a glimpse of some of the details of the battle. Wen Bukqi and Fu Ming trembled. This situation doesn't seem to be developing in the direction they expected. If the unknown martial emperor really has the ability to kill the Hellgate martial emperor, what will be the fate of both of them? Thinking of this, he braced himself to escape. As a martial saint, there is still a glimmer of hope after all. As for Fu Ming, Wen Bukqi really wanted to slap him to death. If he hadn't coveted the martial emperor's woman, how could things have developed to this extent? However, when he was about to run away, but he suddenly felt as if a ray of light was falling from the sky and staring at him. It felt like he was being stared at by some extremely ferocious creature, causing all the hairs on his body to stand on end. When Bukqi understood, the martial emperor had actually been staring at him. At this moment, he was really desperate. His body collapsed to the ground. What's wrong with you? A martial saint ancestor frowned and asked. In desperation, Wen Bukqi could only recount what had happened before. Several martial saint ancestors felt cold all over after hearing this. Cold sweat dripped down. Great. Fuming, you are amazing. How dare you put your hands on the martial emperor's woman? Who gave you the courage? Ah! Suddenly an old ancestor roared loudly. And you, Wen Bukchi, it's okay that Fu Ming is short-sighted, but you actually followed him and acted recklessly. What do you mean by background? You even want me to go visit the Great Principal Sacred Land. What? Do you want my Great Principal Sacred Land to disappear from this world? Several ancestors were almost fainted from anger. The martial emperor prayed to God not to cause them trouble. These two are good. And you're actually bumping into the blade. This is asking for trouble. Ancestor, what should we do? Fu Ming was terrified. His face was pale. Until now. He finally realized that he had offended someone he shouldn't have offended. Even if that martial emperor could die at the hands of the Hellgate martial emperor, I'm afraid the ancestors would not easily forgive me. What should I do? Are you scared now? Too late. You should just stay here and wait for the results. If that martial emperor wins, you will die as a token of your sins. This is the best way. At least it can preserve their Great Principal Sacred Land's foundation for hundreds of thousands of years, right? The emperor was angry. Thousands of corpses floating around. It's definitely not just talk. Chapter 113. You, the Hellgate, are really no good. As for the victory of Hellgate Martial Emperor, they are not afraid. After all, Great Principal Sacred Land is also a subsidiary force of Hellgate. Just as the battle between Chu Long and others broke out, Long Yuan, who was far away in Qianyu, had already noticed the battle there. Has the Chu family finally begun to confront Hell's Gate? He nodded with satisfaction. Now, you don't have to take action on other small fry at the Emperor level yourself. His gaze turned toward the place where the gate to Hell was. Ever since the last time a strong man from the immortal realm was defeated and fled, the Hellgate did not continue to send people to attack the Forbidden Area, Cave of Time, and the martial gods and imperishable realm strongmen there were all on high alert against Qianyu. He seemed to be very worried that Long Yuan would suddenly take action. As for the Forbidden Time Cave, it seemed as if we had fallen into dead silence again. It seems that these forbidden places will not care about the affairs of the human world as long as they are not provoked. This is the best, otherwise it would be really tricky. The Forbidden Land has a rich heritage. There are also many strong people who surpass the divine level. If they suddenly intervene in the human world, at least it's a bit troublesome now. As his cultivation became stronger, Long Yuan also realized that the existence of those forbidden areas did not seem that simple. Especially the 9 forbidden areas in the human world gave him a vague feeling of some kind of formation. But he is not proficient in formations. And the level of that formation is very high. So this feeling is not particularly obvious. However, the battle formation in Chu Long's Dragon and Phoenix reversal of Yin and Yang 108 is quite powerful. Currently, no one within the Emperor level can be its opponent. Even if they burst out with all their strength, it should be more powerful than Chu Xuran's self-created divine ability. At least that's the case for now. Although Chu Xuran's self-created divine ability is very powerful. But for now it is just a prototype and there are still many areas that need to be improved, so I cannot gain more power of my own. As for the selection of the Dragon Guard, Chu Xuran could win first place. That's because they are competing in personal combat power. The battle formation that Chu Long and others were using at this moment was a group ability. The power is so strong. It is enough to kill any martial emperor in seconds. As for the outcome of Chu Xuran's divine ability great accomplishment in the future, that is unknown. Above the 9 holy cities, Chu Long and his men fought with the Black Tortoise Emperor for several hours. The stars that were struck were shattered. The sun and moon have no light. The result was still a draw. Your Excellency's strength is extraordinary. We too admire you. I believe that if we continue to fight, both sides will suffer losses. How about we just stop now? The Black Tortoise Emperor took the initiative to speak. At this time, his body was covered with wounds. The blood has dyed the clothes red. Even the Emperor's mountain and river seal was cracked. But fortunately it is not fatal. Martial Emperor is not much different. His injuries were not as serious as those of the Black Tortoise Emperor, but his 5 elements wheel was blasted by the opponent. He suffered a severe backlash. You are right. Your Excellency is very powerful and is definitely qualified to join our Hell Gate. You are expected to become a Gate Master. In fact, even the Sect Master's strength would not be much stronger than these two. It's just that my status is higher than theirs. At this moment, if you keep trying, there might be a possibility of falling. Because they don't know what the other party's state is like under the golden light. Both sides lose. Hee, it seems that our mercy has made you think that you are really capable of fighting us. Chu Long sneered. In that case, whatever. Anyway, your value has been squeezed out. There is no point in keeping you here any longer. Wives, get started. Yes, husband. In an instant. The golden light grammar is brilliant. The sounds of dragons roaring and phoenixes singing resounded through the sky. The golden dragon hovers. The golden phoenix is circling. The shadows of two mythical beasts hovered in the sky, roaring and killing towards the martial emperor. In that case, let's fight. A pale flame burned fiercely between the martial emperor's eyebrows. His entire aura also suddenly increased. The flame mark is not a decoration, but the result of their practice of the Holy Realm technique. This is also one of the ways to save lives. The burning mark will allow them to burst out with powerful combat power in a short period of time. But the sequelae are also serious. Then your strength will decline completely. So unless it's a life or death situation, they would never use such means. Heavenly Tyrant Fist. The pale flames burned. The moment that enveloped the martial emperor. He delivered his strongest blow. Boom. A pale flame seemed to be burning on the golden fist mark. Sweeping across the starry sky. Wherever I go. Planets exploded, the universe cracked. The terrifying power that burst out from the fist print made the entire starry sky tremble. Just when he threw the punch, the 9-5 element energy balls behind the martial emperor were pressed forward by his will. Wherever the energy ball passes, the starry sky cannot withstand their energy and is collapsing. At the same time, the Black Tortoise Emperor also unleashed his strongest fighting power. The dark light on his body was bursting out, and the white flames were burning fiercely. The two sides are intertwined. The breath stirs the sky. Even the Emperor's mountain and river seal was stained with this color. Kill! He roared and rushed forward. Boom! The next moment, the two sides fought together. Above the golden light, the dragon and the phoenix danced and intertwined, as if they were about to merge into one. Their movements were somewhat strange. This is a dual cultivation movement among the 108 postures. It was just used in battle at this moment. The power is unparalleled. The light above the dragon and phoenix was extremely dazzling. Under Chu Long's control, the golden dragon swung its gigantic claws and destroyed the most powerful fist swung by the martial emperor. A deafening explosion sounded. The entire Tianluo domain seemed to be shaking. Then a claw fell. The martial emperor's body instantly exploded under the attack of the golden dragon. Drops of blood, as bright as gems, fell from the starry sky to the earth. It's like the heaven and earth weeping blood. At the same time, the golden phoenix made a loud cry. The huge wings vibrate. Billions of golden lights burst out. The imperial weapon, the mountain and river seal, completely turned into nothingness under the golden light. Ah, who are you? The Black Tortoise Emperor's fist is unparalleled. Exploded the stars. Destroyed the void. Stars bloom in my eyes and manifest around me. Performing unparalleled Taoism. But in the end, he could only watch his arm disappear bit by bit under the golden light. He knew he was at the end of his rope. So shout out. How he wished he could hear the other party say that he was from the Chu family in Qianyu. Because only in this way, he will feel that his death is not so worthless. After all, the Chu family has a powerful being who can defeat the Saint Envoy of the Immortal Realm. It would not be an exaggeration to say that he could cultivate a peerless genius. Who I am? I'm just a martial artist who just broke through the martial emperor. I came out of retreat a while ago and heard that the Hell Gate had begun to lose control of the human world, so I thought about breaking through the martial emperor to see the specific situation. I didn't expect that all along. Your Hell Gate has been nothing but a facade. You can't even take down someone like me who is in the early stage of martial emperor. It seems like you Hell Gate are really no match for me. Chu Long said disdainfully. His voice is very loud. Spread across the universe. It's like deliberately telling someone something. You. The Black Tortoise Emperor widened his eyes. Turned to ashes in reluctance. In the end, he didn't get the answer he wanted. Chapter 114. Remember to stay away from women in your next life. The golden light faded away. The figures of Chu Long, Shen Biao and others appeared. Now, the golden dragon entanglement on Chu Long's body. The other women were covered with golden phoenixes. The majestic divine power cannot be looked at directly. From now on, more and more people in the human world will break through the martial emperor, and the control of the Hell Gate should become less and less. Shen Biao said with a smile. She had heard the other party say before that under the order of the sect leader, anyone who broke through to the emperor level without the approval of the Hell Gate would be killed without mercy. Coupled with the recent changes caused by the Chu family in the human world, it is not difficult to guess that these people should be responsible for finding those who secretly break through the martial emperor. That's why she told Chu Long, let him not reveal the identity of the Chu family first. After all, the Chu family has the protection of Beast God. If other people knew that they were from the Chu family, you may still be hesitant and dare not break through. But it's really hard to say. As long as someone takes the lead, people will start to break this iron rule one after another. In this way, perhaps it will also relieve some of the pressure for the Chu family. You are such a clever little cutie. You can choose whichever moves you want to practice together tonight. I will obey you unconditionally. Chu Long looked at Shen Biao and said with a smile. HMPH, you should take good care of Sister Yu first. We just captured her a few days ago, so we can't let her be neglected, otherwise we won't let you go. Shen Biao snorted softly. Wen Ruyu did not participate in the battle just now. She had just started practicing dual cultivation. I still don't know much about battle formations. So when they started, Wen Ruyu was protected by Chu Long. You are all aware of my powerful fighting ability, my husband. Xiao Yu alone can't hold out for long. How about we have a big ensemble tonight? Roll. All the girls scolded in unison. Chu Long was helpless. It seems that it is still difficult to achieve this goal. He waved his hand. The imperial weapon, Chaos Starry Sky Lotus, that fell to the ground fell into his hands. This imperial weapon carries the power of chaos, and its power is quite strong. Although I had penetrated its defense before. But this imperial weapon was not damaged. Does any one of you need anything? Chu Long asked. No, your weapon is a long sword, so it's best if we also use long swords. Zhao Yueying and the others shook their heads. Although they don't need to master any swordsmanship in battle. But keeping the weapons consistent can unleash greater power. However, because the saint weapon in the family is limited. Therefore, only a few of them hold the saint weapon sword. Then hand it over to the family. It's a pity that the flywheel and seal with the power of the 5 elements were lost, otherwise we would have been able to obtain 3 imperial artifacts this time. Chu Long sighed in surprise. But deep down inside, I felt relieved. In the past, they lived off the family's savings, but now they finally have the ability to give back to the family. 9 holy cities. When everyone saw Chu Long and others walking down, my breathing stopped. Although their auras were restrained, they did not exude the aura of emperor-level masters. Chu Long came to Wen Bukchi again. He said calmly, you just said that you want the great principal sacred land to visit the power behind me. I don't think there's any need to visit the forces behind me. I'll go visit your great principal sacred land now. I want to see how powerful the background you're so proud of is. I wonder how many people in your sacred land will be left after this slap from me. As soon as these words came out, the martial saint ancestors of the great principal sacred land around him immediately felt weak in the knees. I almost collapsed there. Senior, I am wrong. All the mistakes are my fault. It has nothing to do with the great principal sacred land. I will accept any punishment you want to give me. Please spare the great principal sacred land. Wen Bukchi prostrated himself on the ground, crying. As for Fu Ming, his face was pale now. His previous hopes were completely shattered with the fall of the 3 martial emperors of Hell Gate. Only the smelly urine flowing between the legs soaked the street. I'll give you one chance, do it yourself. Chu Long said coldly. As for forgiveness, how can you forgive someone who has directed his attention to his woman? Hearing this result, Wen Bukchi was stunned. Laugh a few times. I didn't expect that a martial saint who had lived for tens of thousands of years would fall to the hands of the person he was protecting. This made him feel unwilling. No, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I still have a bright future ahead of me. I want to become a martial saint and even surpass the martial emperor to rule the world. Fu Ming struggled and tried to get up and run away. Result: Wen Bukchi slapped him on the top of his head and he was scared to death on the spot. Remember to stay away from women in your next life. After the words fell, he also slapped himself on the head and committed suicide. Still quite decisive, Chu Long smiled softly. He walked towards the restaurant with his group of wives and concubines. The great principal sacred land martial saint ancestors hidden in the crowd breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, this martial emperor is not a murderer. Otherwise, their great principal sacred land would be in great trouble today because of a saint child. But the next moment they thought of other problems. So, is it true that the gate of hell can no longer suppress the human world? Or is their martial emperor really as vulnerable as that martial emperor said? I think it might be true. A martial emperor at an early stage led a group of martial saints to kill 3 martial emperors of Hell Gate, 2 of whom were perfect martial emperors. Doesn't this prove that the martial emperors of Hell Gate are just for show? Someone whispered. Logically speaking, there is a world of difference between a martial saint and a martial emperor. Unless some invincible evildoers can fight across borders. Besides, no matter how many martial saints there are, they cannot match a martial emperor, let alone a perfect martial emperor. It's not possible that all those women are incredible evildoers, right? Taking a step back, even if it is the so-called peerless evildoer, it is also impossible for a martial saint to directly cross the border and kill the martial emperor perfectly. There is a huge difference between the 2 levels. And there are also differences among the martial saints. There are martial saints who are perfect. There are also those from the early days of martial saint. How could such a fighting force possibly kill the martial emperor? At this moment, all the martial saints in the 9 holy cities were silent. If this is true, then maybe they could try it. Immediately order someone to quickly spread the word about what happened here, especially the fact that 2 martial emperors of Hell Gate were perfectly executed by a martial emperor in his early stages. The shrewd martial saint said in a deep voice. Only by letting more people know. Let more people break through martial emperor. So that we can better share the risks with them. In the restaurant, many martial saint elders flocked in, wanting to visit Chu Long, the martial emperor. But most fundamentally, I still want to find out more about his background. I'm just a traveling martial artist. When someone asks, Chu Long said calmly, is it true that Senior is not afraid of the gate of hell? Ha ha ha, Hell Gate. They're nothing special. Before I broke through to the martial emperor level, I thought they were too powerful to be challenged. But you saw the result. Their so-called perfect warriors couldn't even defeat me, an early-stage martial emperor. We have been frightened by the reputation of Hell's Gate for a long time, and mistakenly believed that they were truly invincible. Chapter 115 Who broke through the martial emperor? In fact, only after breaking through the realm of martial emperor can one know that the gate of hell is nothing but a pile of broken bricks and tiles. Chu Long gently waved his folding fan and talked freely. Besides, the Hell Gate is now unable to take care of other things because of the Qianyu Chu family. Isn't this the best time for us to break through the martial emperor? Many visitors' eyes lit up. Yes, Qianyu and the surrounding areas are beginning to break away from the control of Hell Gate. How can I have more time to pay attention to them? Any news related to Hell Gate or Qianyu Chu family always spreads quickly. The news that someone had quietly broken through the martial emperor and killed the martial emperor of hell spread throughout the human world like a hurricane. Almost in an instant, many forces sent spies to the 9 holy city to inquire about the reliability of the matter. Really, it's true. Someone has really broken through the martial emperor, and killed 3 Hell Gate martial emperors in a row. This news made many veteran martial saints unable to hold back. They all started to stir secretly. However, some people have noticed that there seems to be a Hell Gate martial emperor patrolling frequently recently, and many people know why. It seems that the Hell Gate really can't control the situation, otherwise they wouldn't send out the martial emperor to patrol the human world. This has never happened before. Because no one dares to challenge their authority. What should we do then? I guess someone has already started to quietly break through the martial emperor. Falling behind is not a good thing. Now is not the best time to break through. There will definitely be more battles between Hellgate and the Chu family. When the next war breaks out, it will be the time for us to break through the Martial Emperor. The most important thing right now is to prepare for the breakthrough of the Martial Emperor. Other forces in the human world have already received the news. Many people began to get restless. Hellgate. There was silence in the hall. Tell me, everyone, why was the Martial Emperor of Hellgate killed by the Martial Emperor of Early Stage and a group of martial saints? Is it true that the Martial Emperors of Hellgate are just paper tigers as the outside world says? The voice of the first sect master Wufu was somewhat chilly. Looking at the dozen or so Martial Emperors sitting cross-legged in the hall. In my opinion, the other party definitely used some means. After all, it's not surprising that the human world still has some taboos left over from ancient times. The third sect leader Min Su said in a deep voice. It's just that other people's eyes are shallow and can't recognize it. I thought that the Martial Emperor could be killed perfectly in the early stage. That's right, it must be some forbidden method from ancient times, but this is enough to show that someone has already broken through the Martial Emperor and is instigating other martial saints to break through together. We must not allow this to happen. We must nip this trend in the bud. This is a change that has never happened in the history of the world. If we cannot suppress this disturbance, I am afraid that the situation will evolve into a difficult one for them in the near future. After all, everything is because of the Chu family's beast god. If it weren't for him, there wouldn't be so many changes now. He really deserves to die. There was a martial emperor shouting angrily. The Chu family is not scary. Even now that the Chu family has the martial emperor in charge, they are still not scary. However, the strength of the beast god of the Chu family made them extremely wary, and they dared not take action against the areas currently occupied by the Chu family, for fear of angering the beast god. He won't be so arrogant for much longer. Now that such a change has occurred in the human world, the Holy Envoy has begun to summon the strong men of the Holy World. Once they arrive, it will be the death of the Chu family's beast god. Wu Fu said in a deep voice. He glanced at the location where the 7th sect master Mudo was originally. There is already a vacancy. The illegitimate son Xingqi died, and the imperial weapon disappeared without a trace. He had already rushed to the 9 holy city in person with tremendous rage. With the strength of the 7th sect master, he should be able to save some face for our hell sect and deter those restless people at the same time. But unfortunately, or maybe Demuto was just lucky. When he arrived at the 9 holy city with a heart full of rage. Chu Long and others have returned to the family. Otherwise, death may be waiting for him. Ah, little thief, evil thief, don't let me know who you are, otherwise, even if you are at the ends of the earth, I will cut you into pieces, eat your flesh, and drink your blood to avenge the murder of my son. Muto's white hair is flying. Looks like an angry lion. He had many illegitimate children. But Xingqi is definitely the strongest one among talent. He is also the only one among his descendants who has surpassed the martial emperor. He had high hopes for her. Otherwise, he would not have given him his natal imperial weapon, the Chaos Starry Sky Lotus, for self-defense. But now, he couldn't even sense where his own imperial weapon was. I will find you, I will definitely find you. Muto's eyes glowed red. The pale flame between the eyebrows kept jumping. So horrifying, sudden, he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was horrified and said, he actually erased the connection between me and the imperial weapon. That is his innate spirit weapon that he has been practicing for thousands of years. The other party actually severed the relationship between him and me. Ah, damn it, don't let me know who you are. At this moment, the anger in Muto's heart has erupted like a volcano. The energy in the body is on the verge of exploding at any moment. If a martial emperor appeared in front of him at this moment, he would probably be beaten to death with one punch. My son is dead. The natal imperial weapon is also gone. What a loss. Not only did he lose his son, but he also lost his army. In the Dragon Emperor Palace, Long Yuan wiped out all the aura on the Chaos Starry Sky Lotus. And put it in the Mind Refining Tower as a reward for training. A good imperial weapon, it can be said to be both offensive and defensive. However, it is best used by martial artists who practice the way of chaos. It is difficult for others to unleash its chaotic power. Long Yuan has nothing to do now. I simply continued to check on the situation of the Chu family. Other aspects are developing well. We have martial emperors and many martial saints. The population is also increasing in an orderly manner. Especially the population has increased a lot compared to a few years ago. Today, the population has reached an astonishing 70,000. In addition to marrying a wife and taking a concubine. Under the generous fertility incentive system. In the past year alone, the Chu family had several thousand children born. The development time is still too short. If we have about 10 years, the population of the Chu family will definitely grow to 100,000. At this point, Long Yuan had to pay attention. Because now the Chu family has produced many emperor-level strongmen. The gap between emperor level and divine level is quite large. Maybe some other tasks will appear during this period. For example, cultivating emperor-level alchemist, artifact refining division. Or let the population of the Chu family exceed a certain number, etc. So if you can finish it ahead of time, Long Yuan will definitely leave no stone unturned. After all, it feels so good to get rewards continuously. Also, the progress of the alchemists, artifact refining masters, and formation masters is still a bit slow. Long Yuan closed his eyes and thought, thinking about possible solutions. But at this moment, the system voice suddenly rang. Congratulations to the host for training 9 emperor-level warriors for the Guardian family. Mission rewards: 30,000 years of cultivation, supreme divine ability, world in the palm, supreme physique, eyes of heaven, divine level technique, heavenly dragon technique, 50 emperor level physique essences, 50 emperor level martial soul essences, 3 divine weapons. Who broke through the martial emperor? Long Yuan was surprised. Chapter 116: The strongest people in other professions of the Chu family. I was just wondering when this task could be completed. And he finished it. Spiritual sense diffuses exploration. But he found that no one in the Chu family had broken through the martial emperor. Not at the Chu family. Could it be that kid Chu Yan? Long Yuan was slightly shocked. Did that kid break through so quickly? The reason why the Chu family members made such a rapid breakthrough was because they had been in the Tower of Time for hundreds of years. What methods did Chu Yan use? You are truly a role model. The speed of this breakthrough really surprised him. But this breakthrough is very timely. Looking at the generous reward, Long Yuan smiled. 30,000 years of cultivation. Supreme divine ability, the world in your palm. Supreme physique, eyes of heaven. And the rewards given to the Chu family are so cool. With these things, a new group of evil geniuses will be born. The rise of the Chu family is really just around the corner. However, Long Yuan couldn't wait to look at the new task. Really, the latest mission is not to train martial god to be strong. Instead, train an emperor-level alchemist. He decisively called Chu Jingyu, who was in seclusion. Does the family have enough heaven and earth essence stones? If so, open the first floor of the Tower of Time and let the children between 10 and 20 years old and the alchemists and artifact refining masters with more potential in the family go into practice. They are wasting too much time outside. The space on each floor of the Tower of Time is limited. The number of people accommodated cannot be too large. The purpose of opening it up is to cultivate family elites. This time, the purpose is to quickly let the younger generation grow up. The young generation has risen up. He could marry, take concubines and have children to add a large population to the Chu family. At the same time, cultivate professions such as alchemist and artifact refining. A task to train an emperor-level alchemist has appeared. The tasks for emperor-level artifact refining masters and array masters should not be far away. It's better to prepare for a rainy day. Reporting to Beast God, let alone the first floor, even the second and third floors can be opened in a year without any problem. Chu Jingyu replied, including Qianyu and Longyu. The Chu family has now occupied 7 regions. There are also quite a few heaven and earth essence veins. Among these are the essence stones that the subordinate forces pay as tribute every year. A huge amount of essence stones can be obtained every year. In addition to the cultivation of family members and various rewards. There are still a lot left. In that case, let's open the 3rd level for a year. The 3rd level is open for 1 year. In the Tower of Time, it is equivalent to 40 years. This is enough time for those teenagers to grow up. The only thing that worries Long Yuan is the alchemist and artifact refining division. It is extremely difficult to advance in these professions. 40 years. Not to mention emperor level. Even breaking through the saint level might be difficult. Go and find the highest ranking alchemist, artifact refining master, and array master in the family. Long Yuan said to Chu Jingyu. The latter was shocked. Is Beast God going to give them another chance? His guess was not wrong at all. Long Yuan is going to cheat for them. It is simply a pipe dream to want to quickly break through the emperor level without cheating. Not long after, Chu Jingyu brought 3 people with him. These 3 people are the highest level people in the 3 professions of alchemist etc. in their Chu family. Chu Luli, Chu Kuixing, Chu Sanchi. Meet the Beast God. The 3 of them were pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect that Beast God would actually meet them in person. Especially the old man Chu Sanchi couldn't stop crying when he saw Beast God up close. He suddenly fell to the ground and burst into tears. Chu Jingyu was stunned. Even if the old man was excited, he shouldn't be like this, right? At this time, Long Yuan looked at Chu Sanchi and suddenly said, I seem to have some impression of you. Oh, I remember now. When I first came to the Chu family to rescue you, it seemed that you hugged the thigh of the elder of the Ma family, right? It's me, the old man. I didn't expect that Beast God still remembered me. Chu Sanchi wiped away his tears. The moment I saw Beast God, he suddenly remembered that scene. Thinking of the misery of the Chu family at that time. Looking at the Chu family now led by Beast God, he couldn't help but burst into tears. Not bad, you are very brave. You were not even a rank 1 martial artist at the time, but you dared to risk your life to hug the legs of a rank 2 martial warrior. You are very brave. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Long Yuan praised. It's worth it even if I lose my life, old man, to be praised by the Beast God. On the side, Chu Jingyu, who had been laughing at Chu Sanqi's crying, suddenly became serious. Anyone who is willing to fight for the Chu family deserves respect. Long Yuan nodded and said, only by working hard can the family develop faster and bigger. The Chu family needs people like you who have the spirit of working hard. Then Chu Jingyu introduced 3 people to Long Yuan. Chu Sanchi is a rank 7 artifact refining master. Chu Kuixing is a rank 7 formation master. Chu Luli is a rank 7 alchemist, and she is also Chu Liang's sister. They all entered the Tower of Time when it was opened last time. However, compared to simple training, they also need to spend time studying pill refining, artifact refining, and formations. So the overall progress is slower than others. Chu Jingyu explained. Long Yuan nodded. Although you all have special physiques, your current physiques are not suitable for you. So I will strip away your physiques and fuse new ones with you. Then you will go faster and further on your respective paths. The physiques of these 3 people are very ordinary. Just spirit level physique. In the current Chu family. Not even a name, so he planned to change the physique of the 3 people. This physique can be peeled off and replaced. Chu Jingyu was surprised. You'll be able to do it when your strength reaches my level. May I ask Beast God, how long will it take me to reach your level? It won't take long, maybe just 1,000,000 years or so. 1,000,000 years. Chu Jingyu's eyes widened. Almost bit my tongue. This time is too far away for him. Why? Are you starting to waver? Long Yuan smiled. So even if Chu Tianyang asked about the realm after emperor level, Long Yuan was unwilling to say more. Too much talk. Sometimes it really makes people feel shaken. After all, 1,000,000 years is really too long for them. That's a little bit. Chu Jingyu sighed. The point is that 1,000,000 years is really scary. You know, even the martial emperor's lifespan is less than 100,000 years. But he was curious about how Beast God broke through so quickly. He remembered that when Beast God first appeared in the Chu family, he was only a rank 4 demon sect. There's nothing to be afraid of. No matter how long the road is, if you walk step by step, you will eventually reach the end. You don't have to worry about how long it will take, nor do you have to worry about where the end point is. Just keep your feet on the ground and be determined. You may reach the end before you know it. Long Yuan said with a smile. Chu Jingyu nodded. With Beast God leading the Chu family, there is really no need to worry about where the end point is. All they have to do is practice hard and develop the family. Not long after, Long Yuan extracted the essence of the three people's physiques. Although the process is somewhat painful, but it won't kill anyone. Then comes fusion. He waved his hand. He took out 3 portions of physical essence from the mind refining tower. Chapter 117 Chu Yan's request for help. This is the Emperor's heart of formation, the myriad medicine Shenong body, and the forging heaven creation body. These are the 3 Emperor-level physical origins, corresponding to the formation, alchemy Dao, and artifact refining respectively. I hope you won't dishonor these 3 powerful physiques. Long Yuan said as he looked at the 3 people who were pale due to the stripping of their physique. Emperor-level physique. The 4 people, including Chu Jingyu, exclaimed in unison. This opportunity is really great. The first move is an Emperor-level physique. Compared to their previous Spirit-level physique, I don't know how many times better it is. Looking at the 3 people who were stunned, Chu Jingyu reminded, why don't you thank Beast God for the supreme opportunity he has given you? Thank you Beast God for the great opportunity. The 3 of them bowed in unison, their bodies trembling. Emperor level. This is actually an Emperor level physique. Doesn't that mean they will have terrifying Emperor level physiques in the future? The sudden surprise left the 3 of them a little confused. Long Yuan flicked his finger. 3 Emperor-level physical essences fell into the bodies of 3 people. To save time, he directly used his skills to start merging them. As long as you have these 3 constitutions, his understanding of alchemy Dao, array Dao, and instrument Dao is much stronger than that of ordinary people. It will also increase the success rate of pill refining, array building, and artifact refining. It can be said that these physiques are the special physiques that all alchemists, artifact refining masters, and formation masters dream of. Although the combat power is not as good as those combat physiques, but it is definitely an eye-catching physique. Seeing the 3 people who were delighted after the successful body integration, even Chu Jingyu, who possessed the sacred body of eternal golden light, drooled with envy. Alchemist pill refining. Artifact refining division refines spirit weapon. The array master can refine array plates and talismans. These 3 professions are superior in themselves. Now with the Emperor-level physique blessing, it will definitely allow the 3 of them to go further on their respective paths. But fortunately, these 3 people are from their Chu family. This old man will never disappoint Beast God and will definitely make my Chu family's artifact refining famous throughout the human world. Chu Sanchi spoke with a solemn oath. Ha ha ha, good, I'm glad you have this idea. Long Yuan smiled and nodded. A few days later, the Tower of Time opens again. Those who entered this time were clan members between the ages of 10 and 20 and those who were in 3 professions. This could be considered as special care from the Chu family for them. The opening time is 1 year. That is 40 years inside Dragon Emperor Palace. Just when Long Yuan was about to absorb the 30,000 years of cultivation. Suddenly, I felt a chill in my heart. Looking into the distance. Did this guy Chu Yan finally ask me for help? Or in the forbidden area? Long Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly. The token he had given to Chu Yan before was crushed. This guy is really brave. He actually ran into a forbidden place where there is no chance of survival. Well, let me meet the strong man in the forbidden area. Long Yuan's figure instantly disappeared in the Dragon Emperor Palace. The forbidden land of Taya Domain, Grotto Heaven. This is the terrifying death zone known to all martial artists in Taya Domain. It is a place that no one dares to approach. Since ancient times. But no one who entered it came out alive. Even the martial emperor can't do that. It is known as one of the 9 forbidden areas in the human world. Long Yuan, transformed into a human form, appeared outside the Grotto Heaven. As a result, just arrived here. I noticed that not far from the entrance of Grotto Heaven, an old man in coarse linen clothes was sitting cross-legged. It was the remnant soul that was in Chu Yan's ring. Even if I reshape my body now, his appearance is exactly the same as before. Who are you? Long Yuan came without any cover. Naturally, this attracted the attention of Yao Lao. He frowned. I feel like I've seen this person before somewhere, but it's vague and I'm not sure. Long time no see, old man. Long Yuan smiled calmly. Yao Lao couldn't remain calm anymore, he stood up in surprise. Looking at Long Yuan, but I still can't remember it. Why? It's only been a few years since we fought for the Azure Lotus Earth Heart Fire, and you don't recognize me anymore. You are the beast god. Yao Lao screamed. After Long Yuan's reminder, he finally remembered. He immediately bowed to Long Yuan. Beast God defeated the 5 martial emperors of Hell Gate. He also knew that he had defeated the powerful Hell Gate warrior who surpassed the emperor level, and that the Chu family had given birth to several martial emperors. At that moment, he was really shocked. He knew Beast God was very strong. But I didn't expect it to be so strong that it surpassed emperor level. Moreover, he led the Chu family to achieve the martial emperor status in just a few years. It really set a precedent for all time. It broke the dominance of the Hell Gate over the human world. Long Yuan nodded. Senior, why are you here? After being shocked, Yao Lao asked. Such a strong man appears here again, so he must not be here for sightseeing. The jade talisman I gave to Chu Yan was crushed by him. He must have encountered a life or death crisis. Let's go in together. By the way, tell me what happened to him in these years. How did he end up in the forbidden area? Long Yuan walked towards the entrance of Lingshu Grotto Heaven. Yao Lao was shocked. Chu Yan actually crushed the jade talisman. He knew Chu Yan's character very well. If you can do something, no matter how difficult it is, as long as there is a glimmer of hope, he won't ask anyone for help. He was able to crush the jade talisman at this time. It seems that he really encountered a crisis that he could not solve. Senior, this is one of the 9 forbidden areas in the human world. It is extremely dangerous inside. Yao Lao reminded. He was worried that Long Yuan would get into danger if he barged in without knowing anything. According to Chu Yan, the Chu family still needs the support of Beast God now, and he will not crush the jade pendant unless it is absolutely necessary. I know. Long Yuan nodded. Arrived at the entrance of the forbidden area. The entrance to Grotto Heaven is located in the center of an ancient battlefield. An old rusty bronze door stands high in the sky. Very conspicuous. There is no obstruction at all. Exuding a sense of vicissitudes. What era is this battlefield from? Even after who knows how many years, it still exudes a murderous aura. Long Yuan looked at the battlefield around him in surprise. This battlefield is barren and life is hard to survive. From time to time, strange black gas emerges from under the ground. I don't know. It is said that this battlefield may have appeared at the same time as the forbidden area. Yao Lao still followed. Now that Beast God knows the situation here, there must be a way to deal with it. Even if not. If the other party is not afraid, why should I be afraid as an old man? The worst that can happen is death. When we came to the Bronze Gate, Long Yuan stretched out his hand and pushed open the door, then stepped in. And Yao Lao also began to talk about Chu Yan's experiences in the past few years. Yi Juxin, don't think that you can disregard the rules of Lingshu Grotto Heaven just because you are my disciple. This person broke into Lingshu Grotto Heaven but failed to gain the approval of the monuments of heroes. In this case, there is only one way out, and that is death. Even if you are my disciple, if you dare to violate the rules of Grotto Heaven, you will die. You must think carefully about it. Songtai slammed his cane into the ground. His eyes were like torches fixed on the woman kneeling before him. Disciple knows, but Chu Yan is my child. I beg Master to spare his life for the sake of my disciple and let him leave Lingshu Grotto Heaven alive. Chapter 118. Those who collude with demon race will die. A purple dress. Yi Juxin, who looked to be in her 20s, knelt on the ground and prayed. She knew that her master was the great elder of Grotto Heaven. If he nods, maybe my child can have a chance of survival. She couldn't help but recall what happened before. What? Someone from the outside world entered Grotto Heaven alive and obtained the divine fire, sky void flame, by chance. Yi Juxin, who had just finished her retreat and heard the news, was stunned. Let's not talk about how lucky it is to enter the Kangtian Shuyan alive. The sky void flame is the only divine fire in the Grotto Heaven, and its power is extremely powerful. And intelligence has been born. The powerful men of all generations who have been in the Forbidden Land for millions of years. Everyone wants to gain the recognition of Kang Tian Shuyan. But they all ended in failure. Unexpectedly, it was obtained by an intruder. Is this true or false? Yi Ji asked in surprise. Junior sister, how could I possibly lie to you? Wu Luan said seriously. You don't know. This has alarmed the ancestors who were in seclusion. It's a pity that although that person has been recognized by the divine fire, he has not been recognized by the monument to the heroes, so he has only one way to go, which is death. In the end, it took several ancient ancestors to capture that man. Although I didn't see that scene with my own eyes, I heard that even the ancient ancestors were injured by the divine fire. I can only say that it is worthy of being called the divine fire. Wu Luan's eyes were filled with shock. Can be called the ancient ancestor. They were the most powerful and oldest beings in Grotto Heaven, yet they were injured. The divine fire is really so terrifying. What kind of cultivation level does the other party have to be recognized by the divine fire? Yi Juxin was shocked. After she entered Grotto Heaven more than 20 years ago. After being recognized by the Monument of Heroes. I also wanted to gain the recognition of Kang Tian Shuyan. Unfortunately, no matter how many tricks she used, the divine fire did not react at all. But now it has been obtained by someone else, which makes her feel somewhat unwilling. His cultivation is not bad, he is a martial emperor. Wu Luan said. Martial emperor. Hell Gate. Yi Juxin, who was originally in shock, suddenly exuded a terrifying murderous aura. My body couldn't help but tremble. If it weren't for them, how could the sect he belongs to be destroyed? How could it be that I, my husband and our children could not be reunited? How could I possibly enter the forbidden area and never be allowed to leave? Junior sister, forget about the outside world. You should know that once you enter here, you will never be able to leave. Wu Luan patted the junior sister's shoulder and comforted her. Oh, by the way, that person's name seems to be Chu Yan. Buzz. Yi Juxin's body stiffened. With a somewhat stiff head, he looked at his senior brother and asked, what did you say the other person's name was? Because this name is exactly the same as that of my child. It shouldn't be him. It definitely won't be him. It is impossible for the Chu family to give birth to a martial emperor. The gates of hell will not allow a martial emperor to be born in the human world. Besides, my child is only in his early 20s now. Even if you practice faster, it's impossible to break through the martial emperor so quickly. Chu Yan, I heard that he came here to look for his mother. It's true. How could he find our forbidden area while looking for his mother? Wu Luan did not think of this aspect of his junior sister. After all, the child of his junior sister in the outside world is only in his early 20s, and he definitely can't be a martial emperor. Yi Juxin couldn't sit still anymore. He stood up instantly and ran towards the execution ground. Even though I have repeatedly determined that the other person cannot be my child. But when we met, when Chu Yan's identity was truly confirmed, Yi Juxin, the martial emperor, burst into tears. So after learning that Chu Yan was about to be executed, Yi Juxin immediately went to ask her master Songtai for help. That's why we have this scene now. Impossible. If he is recognized by the Monument of Heroes and is willing to stay here, then there will be no problem at all. But he failed to pass the Monument to the Heroes. You should know what this means. That means he has the aura of the demon race. Why haven't the hundreds of millions of myriad races in my Lingshu Grotto Heaven left here for millions of years? It's to maintain the formation and block the entrance from the demon world to the human world. Now a member of our tribe with the aura of a demon race breaks in here. How can we let him leave alive? Songtai said in a deep voice. Other things can be left alone. The only thing I cannot tolerate is anything related to demon race. Not only him, the ancient ancestors. No living being in Grotto Heaven would tolerate this. In his heart, he cursed the heavenly flame secretly. He clearly already possesses the intelligence of a normal person, so why would he choose someone with the aura of a demon race? Even if he is your son, you can't protect him. Wu Luan, take her away and keep her under good care. Don't delay the execution. Songtai suddenly hit the cane in his hand and said coldly. To warn everyone, they want to publicly execute the man who had something to do with demon race. Master, please save my child's life. Master. Yi Juxin was hysterical. Unfortunately, it didn't have any effect. On the execution ground, Chu Yan was severely injured and tied to a huge stone pillar by several ancient ancestors' energy chains. And around, countless forbidden martial artists watched this execution. Is this the person who obtained the divine fire and injured the ancient ancestor? He doesn't look anything special. Yes, their cultivation is not high either, they are only at the level of martial emperor realm. There are a lot of them in our forbidden area. What do you know? Injuring the ancient ancestors was the power of the divine fire, not his power. But if you dare to collude with demon race, you will only end up dead. That's right, anyone who colludes with the demon race will be killed without mercy. $%SS$. Quote. The onlookers of the martial artist were all talking about it. I'm sorry, Shenhe, you're about to lose your master just after you recognized him. Chu Yan said in a low voice with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. A white flame mark was jumping dimly between his eyebrows. It doesn't matter. At worst, I can just find a new owner. The divine fire said. At this moment, it was also imprisoned by several ancient ancestors. Unable to exert one's full strength. Haha, you are really optimistic. Chu Yan smiled. Although it ended like this. But at least I know my mother is safe. It can be regarded as a matter of concern. The only regret is that I couldn't do something for the family. Didn't you say your so-called beast god would take action? Beast god? I'm beginning to regret crushing that jade talisman. If beast god comes in and anything goes wrong, how can I face my family? The forbidden land is too powerful. He subdued the divine fire himself. The combat power has reached an incredible level. But he was still captured by several ancient ancestors. Even if beast god comes in, the end won't be better than mine. But this is a forbidden area. Maybe beast god can't sense it. That would be the best ending. The Chu family is insignificant without me. But we can't live without beast god. Execution. Following the order from Wang Zuo, the lord of the forbidden land. The executioner standing next to Chu Yan immediately raised a huge axe. This is a genuine divine weapon. Those who collude with demon race will die. The executioner shouted angrily. The huge axe in his hand fell down suddenly. Chapter 119 Long Yuan appears, ancient ancestor appears. But at this critical moment, a figure instantly appeared beside Chu Yan and hugged him tightly in his arms. Who dares to stop the execution? The giant axe suddenly stopped. Mother. Chu Yan looked up and saw that the person holding him was his mother Yi Juxin. When you were alive, I couldn't be with you. From now on, let us be together. Yi Juxin said with a smile while hugging Chu Yan. Just now, she took advantage of her senior brother's inattention. Arrived at the execution ground. Junior sister, come back soon. Wu Luan shouted hurriedly. He knew very well what this execution represented. No one can stop it. If my junior sister insists on doing this, she will die. Master, please quickly bring junior sister back. Wu Luan pleaded with his master Songtai for mercy. This is the path he chose, so let her go. Songtai closed his eyes, shook his head and sighed. He cannot make the decision at this time. On the execution ground, Chu Yan shed tears. Maybe I shouldn't have come in the first place. If you don't come in, at least mother will be safe. If you dare to stop the executioner, you will be killed without mercy. The lord of the forbidden land, Wang Zuo Lengli, said. No matter who comes to carry out the execution this time, it will be useless. However, he was silent for a long time. The magic axe in the executioner's hand did not fall for a long time. What are you doing? I'll let you execute me. Wang Zuo said this with a hint of dignity in his voice. I can't move, the executioner said in horror. He felt the void around him completely solidify. I felt like I was stuck in a quagmire and couldn't move. Who on earth dares to control himself in public? What? Wang Zuo and other high-ranking officials of the forbidden area were shocked. Someone was actually doing something right under their noses and they were completely unaware. Chu Yan also looked up blankly at the executioner who was frozen in place and unable to move. Mother, could it be that your master secretly took action? No, this matter is extraordinary. Even if my master is the great elder of this place, he would not dare to stop this execution. After entering the forbidden area for more than 10 years, She already knew a lot about the things here. Just as her master said before. Other things may be left alone. The only thing is that there is absolutely no room for negotiation when it comes to demon race. Who is that? Everyone looked around but didn't notice any suspicious people. An unorthodox idea came to Songtai's mind. Could it be that the ancient ancestors are secretly obstructing the execution? After all, in the grotto heaven, apart from those ancient ancestors, who else could take action under their noses? Thinking of this, he shook his head hastily. Get rid of this thought of betraying your teacher and ancestors. Since you have come to my grotto heaven, why do you have to hide? Sudden, 3 old figures appeared on the execution ground. These people did not emit any strong aura. But when they appeared, the high-level officials, led by Wang Zuo, the Lord of Grotto Heaven, were all shocked. They all knelt down in unison. He shouted loudly, "Greetings to the ancient ancestor." These people are the ancient ancestors of Lingshu Grotto Heaven. And he is an extremely powerful ancient ancestor. Even more terrifying than the several ancient ancestors who captured Chu Yan at that time. But at this moment they all looked at the void beside the execution ground with serious expressions. Is there an invasion by foreign enemies? Who is it? Can several ancient ancestors appear at the same time? Everyone is guessing. Could it be that the beast god has arrived? That's not right. Beast god's power shouldn't be so terrifying that these ancient ancestors would show up, right? Chu Yan muttered to himself. Who is beast god? Yi Juxin asked. A very mysterious and powerful being, and also the patron saint of our Chu family. Chu Yan explained. As the ancient ancestors looked over, I saw the void began to ripple. Under everyone's gaze, 2 figures slowly walked out of the void. The former is a handsome young man, dressed in white, with a dignified bearing. There are 2 majestic black dragon horns on the temples, and a short white curved horn between the eyebrows. Although he had a smile on his face, but he exudes an indescribable noble temperament. Beast god. The moment I saw the young man, Chu Yan exclaimed. Although the dragon horns are slightly different, the opponent's appearance is exactly the same as when they fought for the Azure Lotus Earth Heart Fire. Most importantly, the aura of the other party was exactly the same as the jade talisman that he had crushed before. This is definitely Beast God. Medicine Master. Yi Juxin also saw the old man standing next to the young man, and her eyes were immediately filled with tears of excitement. If that isn't Yao Lao who took care of me since I was a child, then who could it be? Miss, are you still alive? When Yao Lao saw Yi Juxin on the execution ground, he was startled and flew to the execution ground in a hurry. Several ancient ancestors did not stop them. Because this old man is just a martial saint. It doesn't work. What really made them feel the pressure was that young man. Who are you? Why are you invading my grotto heaven? Zulong Guzu asked. One of my clansmen had no intention of trespassing into the nobles' territory, so I came here specially to take him away. Long Yuan said calmly. Humph, once you enter my grotto heaven, you must abide by our rules. We are determined to kill this human, and no one can stop us. Another ancient ancestor said in a cold voice. Then there's nothing we can do. If that's the case, then let's do it. Long Yuan said calmly. If you don't agree, don't say anything. Do it first to show respect. These old antiques had to be defeated first. Then you can slowly reason with them. Otherwise they won't listen to anything you say. Without any hesitation, the 3 ancient ancestors attacked. Infinite light burst forth from them. At this moment, the 3 of them seemed to have transformed into 3 ancient universes, emitting a force that could suppress the heavens. These are actually 3 extremely powerful beings who have reached perfection in the infinite realm. What is infinite? The extreme of time, the extreme of space. Endless is immeasurable. So if this kind of strong man really bursts out with all his strength, it really is the supreme power that suppresses the heavens. Hold head high. Long Yuan did not hold back at all and revealed his true dragon body. The body of 10,000 feet is circling. The yin and yang energies flow. Each dragon scale is simple and full of Taoist connotations, as if containing the ultimate truth of heaven and earth and emitting an indestructible power. In an instant, the 4 of them fought together. Fists and palms meet. The divine light exploded, shining on the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The clanging sound is like the collision of divine weapons. A sound piercing the eardrums broke out. 9*7 Evil Palm. Shu Lang Jiu Zhu felt the power of Long Yuan. I dare not hold back at all. The strongest divine ability is used. With one palm, the 9 stars and 7 evils gathered together and transformed into 9 shining suns and 7 evil stars. The 9 stars and 7 stars are connected. It burst out with a force that could destroy the universe and suppress Long Yuan. Heavenly law shaping earth. Myriad swords returned to the sect. The other 2 ancient ancestors were about to burst out with their strongest power. Ahead above the sky. Standing on the ground, the surrounding galaxies turned into swirling ribbons, and there was a faint sense of the universe floating, and violent power was released from that extremely tall and mighty body. One of the most powerful divine abilities in the universe, heavenly law shaping earth. Billions of sword lights gathered together again. Eventually it turned into a long sword that pierced the sky and the earth. The terrifying energy emanates. The universe can be torn apart easily. Myriad swords return to the sect. If you dare to offend Grotto Heaven, you will be killed without mercy. As Zulong Guzu's voice fell, the 3 of them rushed towards Long Yuanjun to kill him. Together, no one in the Wuliang realm can defeat him, no one can stop him. Chapter 120 Long Yuan Verses. Ancient Ancestor. Hold head high. The dragon roared. Long Yuan's dragon claws clenched tightly. The divine energy in the body is vast, flowing like the endless river in the sky. A majestic golden dragon hovered above his huge dragon claws. Supreme divine ability, Zulong Fist. One punch out. Brilliant golden light blooms, illuminating the world. Dragon roars. Roaring heaven and earth. A huge golden dragon appeared across the sky and earth. He attacked the 3 people with a force that terrified everyone. Boom. When all the divine abilities collided together. Like the sound of the sky collapsing and the earth splitting. The entire Grotto Heaven began to tremble violently at this moment, and seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Everyone was horrified. Don't think that Lingshu Grotto Heaven is just a Grotto Heaven secret realm. In fact, inside is a real great world. Its vast scope. It is not smaller than the human world at all. Now it is about to collapse because of the fight between a few people. It can be seen how terrifying the attack of a strong person in the infinite realm is. It can really destroy the world. But the next moment, throughout the Grotto Heaven, mysterious golden runes emerged from every corner, like magical tadpoles, emitting a steady golden light. The turbulent Grotto Heaven stabilized instantly. Even some golden tadpoles swam, forming a vast array. The vast land of Grotto Heaven was sheltered. This is why the devastating energy impact from high in the sky did not destroy the continent. Deep in the sky, the 4 divine abilities collide with each other. It was like the universe exploded. A huge energy wave hit the 4 extremities world. The 4 figures were knocked back one after another. This dragon race is so scary. Zulong Guzu was horrified. The opponent is only in the late stage of the infinite realm. The 3 of them have all reached perfection in the infinite realm. With their combined strength, they could only manage to draw with the opponent. How is this possible? At this stage, even the ordinary divine level physique can no longer provide any benefit to combat power. So there is almost no such thing as fighting across borders. Even if it is just a small realm higher. It is enough to crush the opponent. But what about this real dragon in front of me? Long Yuan nodded in satisfaction. As expected, it is the Yin-Yang dragon bloodline that surpasses the 4 supreme dragon races. If we compare blood with constitution, at that time, his Azure Flame Blue Dragon was already comparable to the average divine level physique. The Ice and Fire Profound Heaven Dragon bloodline, which is equivalent to the 4 supreme dragon race bloodlines, can correspond to the top divine level physique. As for the 5 elements extreme dragon bloodline, it can be said that it has surpassed the divine level physical sequence and reached the forbidden physical category. He was not sure what level the Yin-Yang Tian dragon bloodline had reached at present. I only know that even at this stage, the bloodline still has a significant effect on his combat power. This made him look forward to the return of his ancestral bloodline. At present, it seems that only a more powerful bloodline can significantly increase his combat power. This bonus is more powerful than divine weapons and martial arts divine ability. Let's fight again. I don't believe he really has such terrifying fighting power. Zulong Guzu shouted in a low voice. A pair of golden maces appeared in his hands. The mysterious Dao marks on the double maces make up for it, emitting an unparalleled aura. This is his natal spirit weapon. The quality has reached the infinite level. At the same time, the other two also took out their own divine weapons. It was a dark golden mace and a sharp white sword. This divine weapon of mine was made from the thigh bone of an infinitely powerful warrior. It has not been stained with blood for 1,000,000 years. Today I will use your blood to refine it. Kui Kwang Ji Yu Zhu, holding a mace, said in a deep voice. He is the ancient ancestor who used the divine ability, law manifestation of heaven and earth. At this moment, he held a dark golden mace with blood that had not yet dried up, looking domineering and majestic. Then he wielded his magic weapon and attacked Long Yuan from 3 directions with the other 2. It's a pity that my 10,000 dragons tower is located in the Chu family, otherwise I would have to fight with you. Long Yuan smiled calmly. Kai rushed forward with both fists without fear. Heaven and earth fist. He didn't hold back. Used divine ability again. The universe and sky evolved above the fist, as if it was really a world of heaven and earth. It collided head-on with the opponent's divine weapon. Boom! The heaven and earth shook violently. Everything is humming. His fist collided with the dark golden mace without hesitation. In an instant, it's as if the world is overturned, yin and yang are reversed, and the universe is destroyed. Various visions bloomed in the colliding divine light. It's terrifying. The pain came. Long Yuan realized that the collision just now had caused a wound on his dragon claw. But there was no time to think too much. The 2 people on the side and behind also attacked at the same time. A world in the palm of your hand. Long Yuan's huge body swayed. The dragon claws behind it stretched out like a sky curtain. And under the dragon's claws, a vast world emerges. There seemed to be a star domain spinning in the middle, and phantoms of billions of living beings appeared. An extremely terrifying power erupted. The pupils of Zulong Guzu, who was coming to kill with 2 maces in hand, suddenly shrank. He felt a force coming towards him that he could hardly resist. But there is no way to retreat. Can only resist head-on. He just yelled. The power in his body exploded without any reservation, pouring into the double maces. Suddenly, the divine light was shining brightly, dazzling and eye-catching. Boom! A loud noise was heard. The heaven and earth shook. Long Yuan's palm world collided with Shu Lang Ji Yuzu's full-strength attack. The dazzling light illuminated the sky. Then everyone saw a figure falling from the sky. That's the ancient ancestor Shu Lang. Wang Zuo and others were horrified. The ancient ancestor was defeated. How is it possible? Ancient ancestor Zulong has reached the perfection of the infinite realm, how could he be defeated by the other party? Songtai and other senior executives were dumbfounded. Is that real dragon so powerful? FK, beast god is so strong. Chu Yanya was stunned. His eyes were round and his mouth was big. Isn't beast god monster emperor? How could we fight those old antiques to such an extent? Beast god is not some monster emperor. Yao Lao sighed. After you entered here, something happened in the outside world. Beast god not only defeated a powerful person from Hellgate who surpassed the martial emperor, but also led the Chu family to become an emperor-level force. It is said that there is more than one martial emperor in the Chu family now. Because of Beast God and the Chu family's leadership, the entire human world has begun to become turbulent. Many old antiques who have reached the level of martial saint are beginning to be eager to break through the martial emperor. As a result, Hell's Gate had to send out martial emperors to patrol the entire human world. He told Chu Yan about some recent events. What? Has someone from the Chu family broken through the martial emperor? Chu Yan was shocked. How is that possible? How could someone in the family break through the martial emperor so quickly? I was able to become a martial emperor because of the special skills given by Yao Lao. First, he refined several heavenly fires, and then he got the divine fire to recognize him as his master before he could break through the martial emperor. How could those people in the family break through so quickly? I don't know about this, but it is an indisputable fact that your Chu family has produced several martial emperors. Now all the major forces in the human world know about it. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.